And our district administrator didn't want to be here tonight. He was just at home sleeping. I'm just kidding. He's in his office. He's not feeling well. He's on the computer. There he is.
We can see him.
Yeah, we can see him. You guys can't very well. But so yes, he's joining us virtually. He's not feeling that great. So we are going to start tonight with a presentation by our CVT team that worked very hard, put in lots of time and effort, and very, very appreciative. So we're going to start with your presentation first tonight.
Can I introduce them, Heather?
What?
Can you hear me? Can I introduce them?
Yes, you can introduce them.
So tonight we're going to hear from our Community Viability Team, or CVT, who has spent several months engaged in a thorough review of the district's facility and green space. The CVT was established by the board and charged with engaging the community, assessing current and future needs, developing recommendations aligned with the board's guiding principles, which are next to all of you. And so they spend a lot of time. They've been spending 6 months. So we really appreciate all the hard work they've been doing and the commitment they've put forward. And again, thank you for that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the Community Viability Team members, Heather Hatley, John Haig, Joel Crane, and Ben Keene, to share the work of the team and the recommendations.
Don't be shy, I know at least 3 of you are now. Mr. Haig, I'm not sure about you, but I don't think you're. No, he's not probably shy. 4.
He's not shy. So I can see.
Oh, yeah, for sure, sorry.
Turn my head.
Tell me when, is that good?
Good.
Okay.
So, next slide. So this is just kind of an overview of what we're going to present here tonight. Basically, how we got here, our expectations, our timeline, and kind of go through what our thoughts were and our processes, and then the net site and plans, and then which will get turned back over to the school board for the next steps, and then at the end of the presentation, we'll entertain any questions. So with that, I will turn it over to Ben.
Okay, how we got here? Okay, next step, please. Okay, so facility planning decision from the decision of the board in June of 2025, to align the district's strategic plan refresh, green space identified, additional areas discussed were the Performing Arts Center, CTE, wrestling, and pool. Facility needs tied to the future referendum, so of course next step, expert inputs, which again, us, point of BOB, PRA, CG Schmidt. So again, formation of the team to come together to support the planning efforts.
Thank you. You can go to the next one.
So the school board put together a list of people, and out of that list came the Community Viability Team. So all of us were members on that team and spent many a long evening here enjoying the process of dreaming, scheming, and trying to do right by the district. Go ahead. You guys gave us a pretty tough charge, but you wanted to take that strategic plan that you guys had approved and see what we might need to do in order to update the facilities and outdoor spaces, and for us to bring forward a plan that we believed in. So we galvanized in January about over a plan and decided that we had formulated something we felt like we could all stand behind. And so we're here to present that plan to you guys so you can start planning for investment referendum decisions as part of that master facility plan. You gave us some guiding principles to work from, and Vince dutifully read them every meeting to remind us where we were starting from, where we had come from, and where we needed to be going. And so thank you for the guiding principles. Key considerations to think about came out of that strategic plan, facility priorities, which ones we were looking for, making sure that we were considerate of capital purchases and requests that would require that referendum money, trying to support the ever-evolving educational and workforce trends. Things have obviously changed over time, and making sure that we were treating sports and non-sports activities with some quality. Community as well as our students' lives also needs to be equally considered. So, next slide. this is the refreshed strategic plan, don't say that fast, that we considered as we move forward and talked about our spaces. Next slide. All right, so we engaged our team of experts, and hopefully you guys had a chance to listen to the videos that were done early on in the process, the passion of the people who are working in this space and the concerns that they brought up. We met 6 times over the course of several months, so September to last week, and made sure that we were trying to walk through all the steps and think about all the things that we could possibly think of, and more importantly, rank, prioritize, talk about, re-rank, reprioritize, talk about. Thank you, Mo, for tallying so many rankings and prioritizations. And what we were trying to do was really to get down to that point where we were ready to offer something to you that we could stand behind and feel good about. So, next slide. Okay, you're up, Joel.
Yeah. So you can go to the next slide, Tyler. So some of our accomplishments. So we first started looking at this. We looked at everything, and we kind of swung for the fences. We said, hey, what do we really want? What do we think the community could get? So we started with this big grand scheme. And we looked at career and technical education readiness. So we looked at the woods department, the ag room, the welding. We looked at the PAC. We looked at our indoor athletic facilities, the pool particularly, how that's getting kind of worn out. We looked at the wrestling room. We even looked at exploring a new gym. We looked at the PAC, upgrading the lighting that's 26 years old, upgrading the sound that's 26 years old when it was built. And we kind of said, hey, if we put a wish list, this is everything we wanted. We then looked at the outdoor facilities, trying to bring baseball back to Lodi was one of the charges. We looked at what could we do to upgrade the field across the street here, what could we do with the green space we have by the primary school, get some restrooms with running water that we don't have that other schools have. We started reviewing that, we started reviewing preliminary cost of that, and then we looked at, and we started developing, like Heather said, we started to prioritize, and then the cost came in and we reprioritized, and then we started cutting, and then reprioritized again, and then whittled it down some more. So again, we're trying to get to this number that we feel comfortable with that addresses everything that you guys put us forth in the charge and the strategic plan put forth. Go ahead, Todd. So we started with an exercise where we started ranking, hey, what's most important? And again, the first time we did this, we didn't have any cost associated with that. And then the cost came back and kind of blew us away, and we reprioritized once we knew the cost. And some of those priorities changed. Some stayed the same. So one of our main priorities was career and technical education readiness. So that didn't change. Indoor athletics was our second priority, improving those. Performing Arts Center was our third priority. And the fourth priority was outdoor athletics. And again, it's not coming from us four, it was coming from, I think there were 12 of us, 15 of us, that from all walks of life. That some people have kids in the district, some people had kids that went through the district. So we kind of had a really good overview. Other things we considered and we ranked by priority, those were the ones we kind of did add-ons later on. We're expanding the indoor athletics, so new gym, similar to the size we have. We looked at outdoor athletics, both how do we make it even where if we improve the varsity baseball diamond, how would we do that to the varsity softball diamond? Because there's drainage issues in both and sinking in both. We looked at adding, again, lights and restrooms. We looked at outdoor athletic facilities with, do we restructure both fields? We looked at, do we do a complete renovation, the one over here? Do we just try to regrade it, or what can we look at? And then we looked at expanding the performing arts. So can we add a scene shop? Literally, you know, they store their props in a shed that has mice and the roof is ripped off.
Yes.
That's not good in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. So we looked at how do we add that in. You can go to the next slide. From that, we developed, hey, here's some cost estimates. And initially, our kind of swing for the fences came in at $54 million. We thought there's no way in heck we can afford that. So we kind of dialed it down, and with some input from some other people, we kind of tried to narrow it down to, hey, how can we kind of split that difference, number one, and we're trying to keep that mill rate and the tax impact to right around $1, because we heard that usually has some pretty good success, and it's a reasonable number. So 33.3 million is what we whittled it down to. That changed the mill rate to $1.06 on a $100,000 property, and that was given to us by a company called Baird, who's a tax accounting. So with that data, we kind of, again, whittled it down from 54 to 33 to say, hey, this is what's essential. From there, you can go to the next slide. We provided community updates. Hey, here's what we're meeting on. Here's what we're discussing. That went through Facebook media, or social media. That went through the newspaper as well. But again, we're trying to hone this all in, and you'll see later in the presentation, like, hey, here's what we deemed essential, but here's the other things we looked at. Here's what we cut out. And at the end, we did this puzzle where we said, okay, if we want to swing for the fences, what are the add-ons? So that's up to the school board to decide, where maybe you want to poll the community to get their input to say, hey, maybe a gym's in order, maybe the PAC, a new scene shop is in order, so on and so forth. So again, we try to take everything in perspective and dial it in, and I think we did a really good job. So I think Heather's up again.
So we're gonna go through each of the 4 areas that we talked about, the CTE space, the indoor-outdoor facilities for sports, and the PAC. So those are the 4 major areas we talked about. So you'll see a little bit of this color coding sprinkled in through some of those discussions. Red for heavy addition, blue for renovation. There are some places where you could pick, I would like to renovate area A and area C, but not B. So we broke those apart, but sometimes there were clusters of things that if you did some work in one area, the dominoes would fall and you'd need to do more than one room. So that's why you've got some broken down areas. And then everything that you'll see on the building plans, really for those essential improvements, you'll see in that peach color. So we can go ahead and go to the next slide. The CTE, the Career and Tech, this is the wing right now, and so you've got animal sciences, small animal stuff, you've got the shop, you've got the Fab Lab, all of those things tucked into here, as well as other tech classroom spaces. So if you want to go to the next slide.
Heather?
Yes.
So the board has seen a lot of this stuff,
Right.
but the people on YouTube have not seen any of this stuff. So when you go through this particular part, could you not skip anything?
We will have to move quickly through things, and I'm sure there are things we won't always remember that we talked about, but we'll do our best to give a really good detail overview for you. So in this space, here are all the areas that in spring of 2025, when the conversations for the videos and the start with POB, PRA, and CG Smith, the work began to talk about what it is, what spaces we were going to touch, and why we needed to touch them. This was what they came up with: heavy renovation and some addition work that needed to be done for reconfiguring wall space to make the spaces. So again, you've got ag and small animal over here, some collaboration space, business ed, woods and metals, Fab Lab, even talked about adding a gallery and culinary lab with a CNA kind of space, and moving out into the English wing, the arts, the art and photography kind of area maybe. We talked about doing photography in here. So this was spring of 2025. A lot of big plans, a lot of big ideas. Going into the next slide, which was December in 2025. Keeping in mind, we started our work in September. We said, well, okay, looking at all of those big ideas, how could we break that into some smaller chunks, because that's a lot to ask for. So this cluster of rooms, opening them up so the teachers could see students working in perhaps different areas at the same time, rather than having a small, tiny area to concentrate on. Changing up, this is an unused old greenhouse now that we have a nice new greenhouse. Could it be used for small animals? Moving over to break apart woods and metals, because right now you're welding next to wood, and that seems like a not so good idea for those of us who know how to start a fire. Changing the size of our welding booths, because right now it is hard to get a student and a teacher in the size of the little confines. And that would open up perhaps some different classes that could be offered, more partnership maybe with MATC for college credit classes. So really considering how to expand that space. The CTE and business ed, adding different elements there to change the seating and noise levels and fabrication machines and all of those good things. Talking then again about photography and the CNA and culinary. And some changes that might need to be made in the configuration of the corridors there. So that was where we were in December. And you'll notice things are starting to sort of gray out on our list, choices that we're making, and ways that we're amending the list of things that were originally proposed. this is what we considered our essential improvements list. So this is what we would present to the board as what we think is really important for this first hit in the CTE area. So now combining all of the separate areas and really looking at that as really important for the CTE area. And you'll notice some of the things that fell off the list is not that they can't be done, we don't want to do. Sometimes there are other solutions that we stumbled upon that were different ways to fund or to approach those spaces. So it's not that we didn't care about an area, it's just that some other solution presented itself, so it wasn't something we had to go to referendum for. So that's important to keep in mind. So this is what we would consider for the CTE essential improvements planned in that 33.3 million. Okay, and John, I believe you're next.
So this is the current plan here right now. Next slide. So these first couple slides here, it was kind of, as was said earlier, the sky's the limit. Don't worry about finances. But, and so that kind of included, renovating all the locker rooms, wrestling room, and building a pool mezzanine area here, and with some seating above there, and upgrading the pool area, and this and everything on the outside of the line here is new addition. So next slide. So then next month we came along and what about gymnasium? We're probably one of the only schools in the area here that only gets by with one gymnasium. So, but that was one of the highest priced items. So, and again, this was all, everything on the outside of the line here is all new addition. So, next slide.
That's your essential.
So this was what we finally came up with here. Again, everything on the outside of the line here is a new addition. The pool area would just be a lot of upgrades in there and kind of get it back to where it's a nice pool again. Fitness area, that would be expanded, and then so that the machines ain't all on top of each other. All the locker rooms would be renovated, new lockers, and instead of the little cubby holes that are currently there. And then we'd have the wrestling room out in this area here with the storage, and then a corridor here to keep everything connected, so that you don't have to go outside to get from one area to the other. And by doing what we did here is we still kept this green space here, but with this addition here, that would take out the parking space in the driveway. So what we did is put the parking area, the driveway and parking area all the way around here, so that at some point in the future, if we decide for another new gymnasium, we wouldn't have to rip that all up again. And by doing that, we basically doubled the size of our parking lot in that area. And that also includes some restrooms in there again. So, it's just it's a major upgrade from what it is now, and at a fairly reasonable cost. So next slide. So I will turn it over here.
So, Performing Arts Center. So again, when we all got together to start this, I probably didn't think I'd be talking about the Performing Arts Center, but we really did. I mean, the communication that we all had as a group to discuss everything that is needed from that first video. I mean, the first videos that we saw in that first meeting we had was just crazy. Again, everybody's probably been in the Performing Arts Center. You walk in, it's a beautiful place. It really is. You walk in, you think, wow, this is a nice area to have. But everything behind the scenes is old. It's 26 years old. It's the lighting, the sound. So again, when we talked about it, based on that video, next slide, it was all of this. Boom, renovations all the way through the inside of this area with, again, a big addition, red outside of there means shovels in the grounds. You're starting to get expensive. If you see the cost for the CT, again, you're all you're doing is moving walls in there, so it's a pretty easy move. As soon as we start having to, you know, footings, all that stuff that comes with it, it was. So, again, this is what the teachers asked for, which again, should be what they want and what we should try and give them. So, when we got together in December, next slide, you know, we brought everything back. Again, we you know, we cut out the scene shop, costume storage. We still need the sound booth lighting, the stage in the pit, and the back of house area, but we definitely need the dressing rooms. We need more restrooms. You know, these kids are, you know, the privacy that they need to change between whatever they're doing, you know, the plays and all that fun stuff. So again, this is where we had it, based on that. Again, still putting an addition on, you know, which is, again, costs. So then the final step was in January. Next slide. Pretty much that. Again, putting a window in the office, I think, was a little add, but again, still a lot of stuff that we took off based on the fact of how much of this would have to be, again, an addition. We still have to move the road, but now at least we're not moving it to where we're gonna lose any of the parking stalls that you come around that side of the building. So again, you know, and then we'll see in a couple slides here on a couple of the additions that we're also looking at doing that, but, you know, when we got to this point, you know, it was taking stuff away that we wanted, but we knew that to try and get this referendum to pass, it was probably, this was it, you know, so we felt really comfortable with this. And I enjoyed talking about it, so I think. Next slide. Again, John.
So this slide, I think, is a little actually out of place here. This kind of goes back to the gymnasium edition here. We're recommending that when you do the public survey, to include that as a question, as, you know, to see whether at some point down the road that, whether there would be okay to go ahead with a new gymnasium. But, you know, again, you know, like this, right now, this is all green space here, but, you know, it's all set up without, messing up any of the infrastructure to put a new gymnasium there. So, I'll turn it back to Matt.
Next slide. So again, in the other part, the additional one is still that scene shop. You know, we really think, but again, it's a major, it replaces the shed that Joel was talking about earlier, just to give them, again, more space. And again, you'll see the costs as they come through. Next slide.
All right, this gets, there's a lot of configurations of this. I wasn't here for the meeting last week, so I got stuck with this one. So I'll do my best. I would've rather had the PAC, I think. So one of the things we looked at when we started to meet is, the thing when you start adding fields or adding structure, that changes the scope of things for the next 25 or 50 years, right? So you really have to be thoughtful as to what you're doing. You know, it's like the lights taken down on there, that affected a ton, and like putting those back, that's a huge expense to do so. So where do we put things and try to set it up to where maybe we don't get lights now, but how do we set it up that it can be added on in the future without destroying everything? Same thing with what John was talking about, the gym. All that site work's done, there's a cost up front for it, but it's set up so that, hey, maybe we don't have a gym now, but maybe 5, 10, 15 years, it's set up where you can plug and play it in without disrupting, you know, the whole thing. So when we met back in October, we started looking at the facilities we currently have. And again, even in the buildings, we're trying to reuse as much of the facility, just repurpose it, rather than put additions on to save some costs. So we looked at the current softball field, the way it sits now. The coaches said it doesn't drain, it comes off the hill. So we looked at regrading the outfield, using some amended soil to improve the drainage. They told us when you do that, you have to actually add, oddly enough, irrigation to re-irrigate it, because it dries out too much, and then some soil stabilization. The tennis courts are past due, so we looked at resurfacing all the tennis courts with asphalt and putting some new fencing up. And then we looked at using green space we currently have that nothing sits on. So adding some practice fields that can be used for soccer, that can be used for football up at the primary school. With that said, there'd have to be some retaining wall put in, and we looked at adding some parking on the backside of that, since parking is pretty rough in there as it is right now. The current baseball diamond across the field from here, we call it the Highway 60 field, that is sinking. I had the opportunity of playing shortstop with the 8th graders there this summer, and when I was standing in the infield, I could only see half my kid in the outfield, because it's sunk so much in the marsh. So we looked at what would it take to repurpose that and reuse it, but get it upgraded to a normal high school field. So that would involve some new dugouts, that would involve moving home plate forward, so it's a standard high school field. That would require regrading soil amendment that would require a retaining wall in the outfield. So a lot of things went into that. You can go to the next field. In December, then, we kind of dialed it back. We got some cost estimates in, and we said, okay, one of the other things that was discussed is, okay, if we put the 2 fields in up at the primary school, do we just say, let's leave that field the way it is? And do we look at saying, let's just build a new diamond up at the high school that would be for varsity baseball? And so that was a new baseball diamond, amended soil, leveling everything out, irrigation, outfield fencing, all the things that come with a baseball diamond, the backstops, concrete pavilion, and then scoreboard. It didn't include lights, but some of the scope of the work and some of the add-ons that you guys will get would be, hey, what if we added lights? What if we added concessions? What if we added a restroom? What if we added so on and so forth? But to try to dial costs down, we said, these are kind of the bare minimums you would need for a field and that location, and could we move forward with it in that regard? Again, none of this changed. It was just, what if we added a field there? Okay, go to the next slide. All right, so we came up with an essential plan, and our essential plan was, let's look at putting the field up there, because one of the things you'll see further on, we looked at repurposing both of those and changing the 2 across the street into a varsity and JV, and then repurposing the softball field and building a new softball field as well, instead of the baseball diamond, to try to keep it same. But again, cost was an issue, it just didn't, the numbers didn't add up. So our essential plan was to look at building a new diamond with the stadium seating, your fencing, your regrading, your everything you need for the baseball diamond, keeping the 2 fields as practice fields, and then repurposing or resurfacing the tennis courts, so redoing the tennis courts that are at, I don't know what they're at, year 15 of a 10-year life, I think it is. Some big cracks in there. Next slide. Other options we explored, again, to go back to priority, we looked at, okay, as an alternate that you'll see on our proposal, what if we did at the primary school just a baseball field and we added concessions to it. So there's a separate cost for concessions. It's set up so that you could add light in the future, so that's a separate cost we looked at. We looked at upgrading some concessions and some field lighting at the softball diamond. We also looked at adding ADA ramps, again, restrooms in there, because again, currently, I don't know where the closest restroom is unless there's porta potties up on the softball diamond. So, next slide. And then other options we explored. At that point, we said, okay, if we built the field at the primary school for the baseball, how do we get that field ready for kids to play on? So we said, what if we just did the bare minimum here? Just have them come in and regrade it, reuse the soil that's already there, don't move home plate, don't change the dugouts, don't change the fencing. So that's a separate cost that we looked at. And we looked at doing the same thing to the softball diamond. Let's just regrade it to get it playable, or better playable, and move forward from there to make everything apples to apples, if you will. All right, next slide. The last thing we looked at is, okay, another option, if you will, was what if we do everything that we want to do on that field with moving the diamond, putting new fencing and new dugouts across the field from here, and then adding it so that we can make it wide enough to use it as a football field, which is how it was used years ago. Again, no lighting or anything there, just put it back the way it was without the lighting. So again, concrete retaining walls, sideline fencing, soil stabilization to stop the sinking, and they reassured us that their testing shows that that would work. Okay, next slide. Others up. I'm done.
So if you're going to reeling, ours were too, as we tried to pick and pack, do all these a la carte options and figure out what we could put together as a reasonable request, if you will. So in our prioritization, again, just as a refresher, we priority ranked CTE first, indoor athletics second, PAC third, and outdoor athletics third. And then we looked at some of those other options, and we ranked those as well. And so we'll go through those really quickly, but everybody really wants to get to this column over here. So to do the essential plan for each of these 4 spaces, we have an estimated cost of I'm going to round, 0.7 million to do the changes in the CTE space. Indoor athletics puts us at 16.7 million. The changes on the PAC at 5.1 million, and outdoor athletics would be at 7.7 million. So collectively, that gets us to that $33.3 million referendum that we would be looking at, again, affecting our mill rate at $1.06 per thousand. These other options took us to that 54 million that Joel mentioned at the beginning where we started, so we cut quite a bit down and out and reprioritized and rejiggered and thought very hard about what those might be. So if it was interesting to the school board to go to the community and question the community about it, we might want to think about adding that second gymnasium at the cost of almost $12 million, changing the varsity and primary and the varsity softball at the high school to add concessions, restrooms, and lights. So the things that we said you didn't have to go to, were not essential, but would be really nice. That puts us at almost 3.2 million. Looking at that varsity softball out at the high school and the Highway 60 JV baseball diamond, just to do the regrades in the outfield would put us at 800,000. To do a complete renovation and upgrades to the baseball field at the Highway 60 would be 2.1 million, and to add the scene shop to the back of the PAC is almost $800,000. So definitely less than that 54 million to start with, but trying to make some choices of what we considered essential and where we could poll the community to see if they would be interested in supporting if you all wanted to do so. Next slide. So just a refresher on the timeline, next slide. We're here in this very long process, presenting our options to you guys right now, and if you'll notice, there's this community survey planning that's starting to happen right now, and all through this process, you'll see, since the CVT was convened in September, we've been working on that community engagement, and that will go all the way through the end of the year. Go ahead, next slide. Next slide. As you guys are considering what comes next. So, look at our recommendations, consider what you all want to present, work on the survey to get the input spring of this year. Once you have that input, decide on potential referendum by July, adopting that by August, and going to the polls in November. And finally, the last slide. Yes, I'm sure there are lots of them.
Wow. So what's next? That's nothing, right? Thanks.
That was on the
for
last
all that.
slide.
It looks like it was really fun.
You did an incredible job, yeah.
Yes. We saw some of this stuff before, and I do want to explain that we did pick names for you guys, trying to pick all different aspects from the community, and we did not want your job either. Scott volunteered to be the board liaison, thank goodness. But there was a lot. Even what you're showing us is a lot, and I know that you guys started with even more than that. And we are so appreciative of what you guys have done. I know there was a lot of time and work and discussions and going back and forth, and I hope you guys felt like you were leading the meetings. That was our goal. We did not want the district. We didn't want Vince. You know, even Scott, I know, had to kind of pull back a little. He wanted to make sure that you guys were getting as much input as possible, and I hope that's what you felt.
100%. I agree.
Okay, good. But thank you guys. This is
Yeah, and
amazing.
again, it wasn't just us four.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
a bunch of other people sitting
No, the
there.
whole gallery. And obviously, the Point of Beginning and PRA and CG Schmidt were there, telling you guys what you needed to know, but they were not also guiding it. So I just appreciate everybody that was involved in that process, because that was a lot. I would get updates, and I'm like, wow.
And the little video, or the video from everybody, their input, you know, that you put in there, that would be good for everyone to watch.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody should watch that.
Yeah.
Because then you took it and you,
So I have a question on the PAC. Was there any discussion about, because there's a chunk of change left from the Wopat family that has been, if I'm not mistaken, tell me if I'm wrong, assigned for the PAC to be used. Was any of that money, how do I
It
word
was
it?
talked about.
Talked
for sure.
about, yeah,
Yes,
talked
100%.
about and.
Yeah, we discussed it, Scott, with, and Vince and all
Okay.
that.
But
So I
it-
think
but
what
it wasn't
our
included
charge,
in
It wasn't
But
there.
it's not included in
our
that.
charge was to figure out what
Yes.
needed to happen in the
Right, right,
space, not
Yeah.
how to pay for those
Correct.
things. So we tried to be really
Okay.
objective about the
Yeah.
needs,
Cause there, I
not
mean,
where
like
the
I
pool
said,
of money might come from.
it's a good chunk of change that's sitting there. Hopefully for the PAC is what I think we had tried to
It could help to
designate,
shed
vote on it
light.
and designate it for. which could help with
The sound,
that.
interior, inside.
Yeah,
Any other questions? Scott?
I don't have any questions. Just as being a part of it, I appreciate the work that everybody did. You guys have helped the board more than I think you realize. We have a lot of good insights that you have given us. I know that I pushed you guys a lot. I know that I got on some people's last nerve.
No, not
But-
you.
no
You
way.
did I think what you have given us is excellent. I know that there was quite a bit of discussion amongst the community members about this upcoming survey, and that answers to some of these questions will really help us as a board decide what we're gonna pick and choose. Because, again, you've given us a fantastic start on this, but we're gonna have some difficult decisions that we're gonna have to make. But it's much easier for us when we know what the community values and
Yes.
sees as important priorities. So, thank you for doing that, because those are 2.5-hour plus meetings, once a month for,
I'm guessing they were pretty full too.
so, thank you.
First meeting was
thank you.
scheduled for 2 hours, but that never happened.
Well, and I, just for the people that are watching online, or just maybe even here that didn't know, we really tried hard to get this group, because we pull from 9 municipalities, you know,
Yeah.
tried to get people from, you know, from the different municipalities, from different backgrounds, whether it's sports or arts or business, ag, all of that, you know, and just get a really well-rounded group to sort of,
We wanted everybody represented.
we wanted
well.
everybody represented,
Well,
absolutely.
including our student reps. We
Absolutely.
have student
For
input,
sure.
which is
Student reps.
really
Yep.
important, so.
You sat through meetings too.
Yeah.
Put them on your resume someday. That would be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, thank you all.
Yes, thank you.
Is there any more?
Pause dismissed.
Well, we are gonna actually go right into, because we appreciate you guys so much,
Presentations.
taking positive stuff.
Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want me to turn you
Vince is
around,
talking.
Vince? Okay, yeah, turn you around.
Okay.
It's kind of bossy, isn't it?
Yes.
I am
Around.
moving. So there is a motion, if you look at,
Oh,
there's a
yes.
memo in board docs,
Yes.
there's a motion for the board to accept the recommendation of the community viability team
So Vince,
and use it to develop a community survey.
I'll move to accept the recommendation of the Community Viability Team with great gratitude for the time and effort they put into this process, and to use those recommendations to inform and develop, to inform the development of a community survey to gather broader input and to inform future board decisions.
And I
I'll
will
second it.
definitely second that.
You got a bunch of seconds.
Motion by Adam,
I'll go on record as seconding that.
second by Scott. Any more discussion?
I
All
just
in-
want to quickly reiterate, we were charged to watch all those videos before coming to this meeting.
Yes.
And just, you watched them all in a row, and it was like, holy cow, I can't
Yeah.
believe what you guys had to decide, right,
Yes.
and go through. And so, as Scott said, thank you, like 1,000,000 times over, for helping us make these decisions. It's just amazing.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Now you can go.
So I'd also like to jump in, just say thank you, and I'm sorry I'm not in the room with you, but you're probably very happy that I'm not in the room with you. Thank you for all your work, I really appreciate it, and the district really appreciates it.
And because our district has so much money, we're gonna each give you guys $100,000. You wanna do the names? Or no?
Go ahead.
Heather Hatley,
I love your first name.
Tracy, Sakshan.
Dennis Crow, is he here?
No, Dennis.
We can read that. Bo Rip,
Bobo's here.
oh Bo.
Ben Keen.
Thank you so much.
Is Brittany here? Brittany Dempsey, no?
John Hag,
Hey. Let's see, where's this?
Jason, Marcia.
Thank you so much, appreciate it. Joe Crane. Thank you, appreciate it. Everybody that's here. Megan Smith.
Rick Pandora.
Thank you so much. And then who couldn't be here tonight is Brittany Dempsey, Dennis Crow Jr., Trent Schneider, and Shane Clapper, right? And then we got Scott Bilsey. All right, now we're all gonna go in front of there and take a picture with the board too.
Somehow, some way.
We all have to fit over. Yeah, maybe we should. All right. We're gonna go over here.
Or should we do it over here?
Actually, we're gonna do it up here, guys, just because there's a lot more.
It's not. Get over here.
Don't forget Rick Pandora.
I do heels on today though.
Me?
Here, wait. Good? All of us?
Just vote.
Wait a minute, we got one more person to get there, Rick.
Oh, yeah, Rick.
What do you
You're
mean?
supposed to be up there.
Yeah, you were trying to hide.
Were you trying to get out of it, Rick?
Mo, nothing gets by Mo, believe me.
Thank you.
Great. That takes so much off of our plates.
Yeah.
Cost me an arm and a leg.
And you guys, I'm sure, want to all stay for the rest of the meeting, but you don't need to.
Bet you don't.
Oh, yeah.
Heather?
What's up?
Can we give a quick shout out to the CJ Schmidt, ERA, and BOB for their donation?
Yes, thank you guys. C.G. Schmidt, POB, and PRA. Where did Rick go?
I know, he's such a bossy head, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So next up is the gallery walk.
The gallery
Yes,
walk, yeah?
gallery walk next.
Nick, you wanted to announce it and talk about it, because we can't hear him as
We
well.
can't hear him so well.
As in years in the past, we'll have a gallery walk where each building will present an area of focus from their building scorecard this year that aligns with the strategic plan. We will have 10 minutes per session.
Bam.
Staying on time, administrators, for 10 minutes. I'll give you an alert when we're at the end of that. And we can disperse and
There's 4 stations,
Yeah,
correct?
where
four
are we?
stations, right?
Where are we?
So just,
We have a station here. We'll have one in the room right out this way.
so you two.
One station here and one
high
right over,
I thought you had
conference
names.
room over that
You
way.
have to tell us where we
Who- Yeah, who's going where, who are the groups?
break us up.
Yeah, I think we'll go, you guys go here, we'll have you two go over there.
Okay.
All right. Go here, and you guys will go over them.
Thanks, Nick. Vince, do you want to go somewhere, or what do you want to do?
Do you want to be carried with us?
Do you want to go somewhere?
Start?
Oh, yeah, 10
And
minutes.
we are starting. 10 minutes.
I don't know what Vince said.
What's that, Vince?
Yep, we're starting.
Good. Welcome. So, we get to share with you a little bit about what's been going on at LES and OC. And as we were reflecting, right, one of the great things that we get to do is have these gallery walks and update you on the work that the building is doing in these pillars. And we were reflecting on what we've shared and what we haven't. And so we decided that we wanted to share, one thing we haven't highlighted is the way that we also think about experiential learning through field trips, field studies, and guest speakers. And the benefit of that
We kind of cheated because that really expands beyond just 2 pillars. It's really all 3 of these pillars. So pillar 1, pillar 2, and pillar 3. But we know that these opportunities really help students understand real world, apply what they're learning. There's a ton of benefits. It also supports our work within the strategic plan. And I get to do a lot of the words, and they get to talk about the pictures. But when you think about field trips and field studies, that real world context, it does increase academic performance, and we also see just that social and cultural development. When we get the opportunity to have experts come into our building, which is such a great thing for our kiddos, obviously career exposure and inspiration. We think about the in-depth knowledge they get to share with us as experts, their different perspectives, and then just really contextualizing learning, right? Like helping students see how those skills that they're working on can be applied to the real world. So, we are going to share each of these, and I think maybe, let's see, OSC, 5th, 4th, we should have talked beforehand. You want to do 3rd? And you can do 4th, and I'll help you with 4th? You want to do 3rd? Did you go with this into Mallet? You did not get to go with.
I did not.
So, do you want to do 3rd, or you want me to?
You can do 3rd.
Okay, and then you guys can maybe take 4th. So this year, 3rd grade, one of the things that they did is, part of our MyView curriculum, talks about renovating some spaces, making them more accessible. And so they worked with the Mallards, and the Mallards had never had a school group come before, but they opened it up to us. We got to tour the facility, got to play some kickball on their field, and got to see all the different operations of the Mallards. From that, students then took the information they gained there and some other research, and they actually have created a presentation for the Optimist Clubs and the mayor about renovations to fields down by the park and ways that they can make that better. They secured a grant for the village and that they can then now use to be able to, or for the city, and be able to use to renovate that area. Also, you'll notice in each of these, I can click on them so you can see them, but each of these pictures too, there is also a school forest experience for all of our grade levels as well. So this is 3rd grade, and this is their recent presentation with the check as well. Okay. 4th grade, you want to talk a little bit?
All right, we got to go to the Pioneer Center, and basically what we got to do is see what happened a long time ago, right? So kids got to experience like the blacksmith, and they got to go and see like what was it like at a homestead, and like women got to, you know, do their needlework, men got to do whatever, and understand like what the difference and how much we have changed culturally. It was a really cool experience for all of our kiddos to go and see those differences, learn how they were learning, how the changes of how the one-room schoolhouse to where we are now. There we are, our great 4th grade crew at the school forest. And this was awesome. We had UW-Madison came, and they brought different fossils and stones and everything, and the kids got to actually hands-on explore, gave different questions, and the kids got to come up with their own questions. So it was a really neat, hands-on opportunity for our kiddos.
We got 5th grade.
So as part of my view, our literacy, there's a story about Frank Lloyd Wright. And we always talk, when we started my view, of like hopefully getting down to spring grade Taliesin to really bring that learning into their real life learning experience. What was special about this trip is they've never let a young group of 5th graders go through what we did. And after talking to them and telling them, you know, what we're doing in our classroom, they said, yeah, let's give it a shot. So we were one of the younger groups to go through the whole Taliesin and not just like the classroom. And so it was a great opportunity. It's going to be tied into a future project that we haven't told our parents or kids yet, so I can't say. We're still working on that. But it'll be tied in with everything from the writing portion of it to arts to hands-on. Our our school forests. Again, we're going out twice this year, and we go out there and take time to talk about the history of the forest and also write, read, and then just reflect upon this great outdoor classroom.
So we have a lot of things that were already in place on this pilot.
Every year we do a stock market challenge where kids invest $20,000, not real, wish we could do that. And they buy into 2 companies, and then they watch each week how those companies are doing on the market. And so we brought that experience to life with Rob Hatch and his associate from Preferred Tax Advisors to come down and talk about how to invest money, other ways to invest money, and then also what he does and as a possible career. It was we really appreciate Rob and them coming down to make it a real life experience. And there was a brewer game that day, so.
There was a brewer game.
Yeah.
I'm Grace, and I teach at OSC. And then you experience it visuals our students went to Aldo Leopold, studied perfections, and they got to see some really cool animals, both indoor and outdoor. And it was great. It was actually a beautiful day.
In every classroom, so kids have access to tables. There's timers. All teachers use conversations. Kids can take the
We went to the school forest.
Some say
did a great job organizing a lot of opportunities for all of our building to make it out to the school forest.
And then we have zones of regulation that we teach.
Well, this can come in.
Where they are and how their bodies energize.
The next thing
How their emotions.
And then we, this is the second year we've done this, and this has been a really neat opportunity. South
Inside
Prairie
Out
Hospital
Characters?
does different,
Yeah.
programs where they go into the classroom and they teach healthy lifestyle with food, and then the kids get to,
kids are
make something
really good
delicious
at
that
it.
can be part of
Even
it.
in 4K, a lot of our kids can really know like how their bodies energize.
Sanitizing their hands.
Then the next step is
measurement.
identifying the emotion of their
And they, like, the specific one was talking about the colors of the vegetables and every part of
Some
your body,
classes
which
do it like have a visual and the kids actually feel the
which
piece.
ones affect your heart, which one affects your blood flow.
More verbally,
And they got to try
just
something
have
new.
visual ways
And this one
thinking about it.
tied really nicely to our piloting magnetic literacy. And our third grade unit was all about taste, so we were able to bring that right back into the classroom too.
We talked a lot about different breathing exercises for kids to do.
I think they gave us a 3-minute warning a little bit ago, so we want to make sure there's some time for questions.
Activities where parts of their day they use the break box.
I think it's just awesome to get out
There are
of
other
school for
activities
us.
that are kind
I
of
mean,
one-on-one.
when my kids were in school, all it was ever used for
And then
was
movement breaks throughout the day.
cross-country went out there.
These are things that a lot of teachers are already
That was
doing,
it.
just kind of continue to share and highlight for their students.
Personally, the thing that I remember the most from my childhood are the field trips.
Yeah.
That's all, those are the things that I love.
Enhancing student development report
The variety of activities as well.
executive functioning.
We're in our final minute before we'll rotate. Final minute before we'll rotate.
No, it's fine. Some of the examples, I guess, just to talk about that, one of our kindergarten teachers, does a great job of, like, patients on this and our question. For kids to put the color away, to know
Between
what
guest speakers and going out on field studies for 2 different
this is also an
opportunities
example
school years.
of heritage for
Which has taken a lot of work.
and so that's something we're covered, talking about it, super important.
Yeah, and I think, you think of our age of kiddos too, right? Like, they're just at that ripe age where they can handle the maybe change in schedule a little bit and some of these opportunities that provides, and yet, our staff do such a great job of being strategic about when that's happening and optimizing our learning at the same time, and knowing that our learning, we don't want it to just stay.
Hopefully we'll go down. So as the staff, that's something we're
To be able to see that, and I think, all of our staff could attest that we often get positive feedback from the places we go or from our guest speakers about how our students are behaving and their engagement.
So these are the things that Liz had talked about.
Definitely a lot of Lodi pride.
Doing and continue to brainstorm.
All right, we are at our times. We are going to rotate. This group over here, you guys are
Clockwise?
heading that way to the conference room. You guys are gonna come right over here.
I think we got you.
And that's okay, so we're like, when the last one, they say, okay, all these zones.
I'm good, I can stay here.
Are we supposed to move?
They're
going that way.
How do we know which one to go to next? Am I following you?
Grade level order if you go this way.
Do you wanna come with us?
You want me just to read?
Or just the underline?
I don't know, we're here now.
Do you wanna come with us, or do you wanna stay here?
We're gonna jumpstart into.
She said go? We can wait and be quick too. Okay.
Yeah, Jason's.
All right. Welcome. We didn't introduce ourselves last time, so we'll introduce ourselves in case you don't know. My name is Mr. Sugarman, Aaron Sugarman. I get to be the principal at LES and OSC. Chris McNeil, fifth grade.
Dawn Collins, special education.
Harry Barr, school counselor.
So thank you for learning more about us and what we do at LES and OSC. As we were reflecting on the gallery walk, we were thinking about what to present on this time. We went back and looked at what we have already presented on the last few years. And we realized that there was a part of what we do that we really haven't highlighted before. And that is really how we promote and give opportunities for kids to have experiential learning. So that's through field trips, through field studies, and through guest speakers. We believe that our students are at the perfect age at LES and OSC to utilize these experiences to really transform sometimes abstract concepts into actual learning and see how it affects or how it is implemented in the real world, and to learn not only from our amazing teachers, but also learn from those in our community and in our broader world. So, because of that, when we thought about what pillars this covered, we know we were only supposed to keep 2 pillars, but we really believe that these opportunities really cover 3. So, pillar 1, preparing for the future. Pillar 2, nurturing the whole student. And pillar 3, innovative communication connection.
So impacted field trips and field studies. Okay, so we're still doing that we're gonna do that learning. They can move forward with their knowledge. They're gonna learn hands-on by seeing, touching, and exploring different things and opportunities that they might not get in the classroom. Real world content, these experiences show students how schoolwork connects with our world, not just in our school, but in our community. Increase academic performance. Studies show that when we put our kiddos in these opportunities, that our grades get better, our scores are better, and it's just giving us, our kiddos, a different outlook and opportunities that they might not get otherwise. If you bump, right there, those are some of the great children that I get to work with every day, and this year we got the opportunity to work with transitions, and one of my friends in the middle there, we go to the bank and we help the boosters every week or every other week, and we make sure that clothes that we use for Lodi Pride, that clothes are on the hangers or looking nice for sales for the bank. So we've got the opportunity to go and do that, so that's been a really great thing for our kiddos, and it's at that wonderful time for them just to learn, working on those social skills. So that's been a great opportunity for us.
Another great opportunity for our students is guest speakers. A lot of career exposure and inspiration. So professionals get these students to learn about different career paths and real world experiences so that they can kind of identify what they might be interested in the future. There's a lot of in-depth knowledge. These speakers provide expert insights into these specific topics that they come to talk about. So it helps kids understand, beyond what's in their textbooks. Lots of diverse perspectives. Guest speakers are bringing those new voices and perspectives into those classrooms. And then also contextualizing learning, just showing how those academic skills are applied in professional settings, and help them kind of see that work in action.
Pillar 2.
So we have some examples here for you. So from 3rd grade, part of that My View Literacy is there's a project and some learning that happens around how can we make facilities better and how can we make them accessible. So they actually went to the Mallards, and it was the first time the Mallards had Welcome to School for a tour. And so they got to have a tour, they got to be on the field and play, but they also got to see the behind the scenes and get some ideas that they also then did some additional research on to be able to then write and actually achieve, and we awarded a grant for the city of Lodi to be able to do some renovations at the park. So the 3rd graders actually secured an Optimus grant that the city now can apply or can use to make some of the renovations that they suggested. So, and then one other thing that you'll see in each area is we also have each group going out to the school forest, which is a great opportunity for our kiddos to be learning and The Pioneer Village is something we do every year, just to see, back in time. It ties directly to their social studies standards in 4th grade in Wisconsin. And then we're just lucky that we have an opportunity in Reedsburg, not too far away, to go experience that. Also, they had some local archaeologists, experts, come and teach them about all things rocks and minerals, and very hands-on. The kids loved it, and the two presenters did a great job bringing that learning to life. And then this is their experience, 4th grade over there in the school force as well. 5th grade.
Alright, we took the yellow limos down to Spring Green for the TPSS for Frank Lloyd Wright. In my view, there's a story on Frank Lloyd Wright, and it's a mixture of art and life, and how you can have that balance. And so it's always been one of our hopes to get down there, and we made it happen this year. And really cool thing is we were one of the youngest school grades to go through the whole Taliesin. Usually our age, you just put them in the schoolroom, but they gave us the whole elaborate tour. And it was absolutely amazing, and it'll be tied into a project that we'll be doing this year.
And then as far as getting ready.
Then we headed out to the school forest again, and you can see notebooks hand because we take that time in that wonderful outdoor classroom to read, to write, and reflect about what they're seeing around them, and really putting those senses on paper.
So those are some other ones we have too.
Then
we have a different expectation.
Talking county. So every year we do a stock it up.
Like to go in the cafeteria.
The kids get $20,000, not real, and they get to invest in 2 companies, and then every week they go through and see how their stocks are doing. And this year we brought in Rob Hatch and his associate from tax advisors, and they came in and took it to the next level to really show real life experience of how you can invest your money in not just the stock market, but other things, and then kind of what they do as a job as a possible career for some of our students. So we really appreciate them for coming in.
All of our classrooms have a green expectation poster that they set up in the beginning of the school year.
This year we made it over to Elderly and Full. It was a great opportunity for kids just to see animals that they wouldn't necessarily see up close. We learned about the food chain and the food web and did lots of indoor and outdoor activities. It was a lot of a beautiful day out that we did for them. We did a great job there. We also made it to the school forest. Chloe Andrus has done a great job building it in his PE time so that the building can get
So as far as for so this one would be kindergarten through 2nd grade, we don't have that for 4K. I would say for these, this also pertains to 4K as well.
To the school, and the kids do different lessons on food. So they learned all about the produce here, the different colors and how the different colors.
They do not, the 4K students.
They kind of paired them with organs within our body and how it affected our body in a healthy way. And they got to make
are the students
club pizza with a homemade ranch, which was great. And this tied in nicely with our, we're highlighting magnetic literacy, and there's a whole unit on food, taste buds, hygiene, history of produce, so it was great to bring that in.
I would say, I feel like it was
So I know Nick could give me 5 in the morning a little bit ago.
A minute, 30 seconds left.
30. So first want to give you an opportunity to questions for us.
They scored
you
themselves
saw,
on
or
that they feel that they have things that they.
Were you able to do the food unit gyms on the list?
All kids, we brought all the supplies in, which was wonderful. We have different supplies, but they bring everything. They provide the food, they create the presentation. The kids all go home with the recipe card too.
And then every year it gets to be a little bit bigger.
I think one of the things that is most exciting for me is when we think about people out in our community who are experts that students get the opportunity to learn from these experts all the time, and then to see other people passionate about what they're doing and what they're teaching, just really brings the best out of our kids.
I like who I am as a person.
Well, thank you board too for allowing us these opportunities again. I think our students are just at that right perfect age, and our staff do a great job of balancing getting to go out, and also still making sure that we're covering what we need to cover in the classroom. And we've really found that it not only is enhancing our learning, but also enhancing our students as people.
I worry a lot.
How many years have you been as a
Thank you.
Is that a number that's trending up? Is it trending down?
All right, we're coming to the end of our time. We're gonna rotate where this group's gonna come over here. You guys are gonna come to the conference room this way. We're at the end of our time.
Conversation.
I don't know.
Yeah, he is a taskmaster.
So part of the next steps then is really diving down to, do they know how to answer the question, which is always a question we have about.
I only have one more board meeting left after
She isn't allowed to come.
To go to, I'm sure another trip.
Also talking about sometimes.
She retired from the,
What is the level of like big pumps, small pumps, there's so many pieces that go into it. But obviously it's concerning, and that's why we are focusing
Every
in on
Tuesday.
how to help people with
I don't
stress and
wanna
anxiety.
Every Tuesday. Oh, retirement, yes. Retirement. It's not what she currently does.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday we drive past me. She's at this rip of a house.
I would have to look at their things. I know the elementary school is pretty.
She was one of the people who got to see her.
My kids were.
As a high school. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
You guys are doing so great. Call me and tell me and I'm gonna come.
Hello.
Hi.
Need a chair?
Yeah,
Pull one up.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I thought I had one wheels.
Right here.
Hi, hello. Welcome to the
Yeah, hi, Emily. Yeah.
Tonight I have with
Well,
me
I know we
three
got a
wonderful
good task measure with
educators.
our 10 minutes, so we'll get going, so you maybe have a chance for some questions at the end. My name is Eric Schutman. In case you don't know me, I get to be the principal at Little Elementary
It's about
School.
phrasing it, she says.
So we're gonna talk to you about
Share
pillar
what
one.
highlights and pillar two.
Our school
So for
counseling.
pillar one, we are
Talent
working
special
on
education.
the goal of.
So as we were reflecting on what to share for the gallery walk, we went back as an impact team and really thought about what are the things we've already covered that are part of what we do, and is there anything that we haven't really highlighted? And so one of the things that we haven't highlighted, that we wanted to highlight was just the powerful impact of experiential learning. So we really believe that our students are at that ripe age, perfect age to utilize these experiences, field trips, field studies, and guest speakers to enhance their learning. We've seen firsthand the way that this enhances, what they're already learning. It takes some sometimes abstract concepts and helps them really apply that into real life. And it also motivates them because they get to see people who are passionate about doing that same thing. They take those skills that they've learned and they're passionately putting them into the profession and then sharing that with these students, which is super motivating and inspiring. As we thought about this, I know we were supposed to pick 2 pillars, but we really felt very strongly that all 3 of these pillars, pillar 1, pillar 2, and pillar 3, are part of these experiences and are an important part of what we do. So, before we jump into the impact of field trips and field studies, I'm gonna have Ms. Collins share a little bit about this picture.
Oh, this is why I come to see these young individuals. We have the opportunity to work with transitions this year, and we are going to the bank once every 2 weeks or a week, depending on what it looks like. And we are working with the boosters. Now we have hangers, but before that we were working on our folding skills, making sure that everything looked nice in the bank. So when customers would come in and want to buy Lodi apparel, we would make sure that that looked organized, tidy, and the kids just love doing that. So if it's nice out, we walk. If it's not nice out, we'll take a drive. But it's a great opportunity for our kiddos to learn what that looks like, being responsible, and they really look forward to doing that. So that's a pretty cool opportunity that we've received this year. Impact on field trips and field studies. Learning, students can move forward and they learn hands-on. They get to have opportunities that they wouldn't necessarily have in the classroom by seeing, using those senses that we sometimes just don't have by just opening that book. Real world context. These experiences show students how schoolwork connects to the world and not just our community, but outside. Increased academic performances. Studies are showing that, the more that you get out, the more experience you have, the higher your test scores are, the more you want to learn. And social and cultural development. We live in a really big world, and having these opportunities lets us explore that even more so.
Big impact when we have guest speakers come in. There's a lot of career exposure and inspiration for the students. They are exposed to different diverse career paths, helping to them to kind of just think about their future interests and careers. speakers that come provide expert insights into these topics and then just help the kids understand more than what they just read in the textbooks that they have. They also get some diverse perspectives when we have guest speakers come in. They bring in new voices and just different perspectives again into the classroom. And then there's also just contextualizing learning. They just show how these academic skills are applied in professional settings and then just demonstrate the value of that work.
These are second grade.
So we have next is kind of by each team. I have some pictures of what they've experienced. So this year, third grade students, LES third graders, part of their My View literacy was to think about ways that we could make a park or places better, make it more accessible, have it be more about your mission or motto. And so they reached out to the Mallards, and the Mallards had never had a school come and tour their facility. And so this was their first time, but they did that, and they told them a lot about what they do there. And it helped students to do a little research through experience, and then they came back and did more research, and then they actually created projects and presentations that they gave to me, and then they also gave to the Optimist and to the mayor, and they actually secured a grant for the city of Lodi to be able to renovate their dugouts and the spaces down at the park. And so really thinking about their learning and then being able to apply it. Huge experience for them. And then also for each grade level, we also highlighted our trips to the school forest. So this is the third graders as they were getting ready to go hike. Fourth grade, every year they go to the Pioneer Village over in Reedsburg, and you think about their social studies standards, big Wisconsin history, part of fourth grade, and getting to experience that so close to us and what life looked like back then in Wisconsin. And then also they had a great opportunity. These two, this couple actually live in Lodi, and they are archaeologists. And so they brought their extensive knowledge and minerals and rocks, and they were able to bring some excitement to these fourth graders and hands-on learning. And then we have fourth graders at the school forest as well. All right, fifth grade.
Alright, so we jumped in our big yellow limos down to Spring Green for Frank Lloyd Wright, Taliesin. In our My View unit, there's a story on Frank Lloyd Wright, and it talks about art and life and the balance with some of his structures and how you keep them going. And it's a great, great story, and we always wanted to get our kids down there, so we finally did it this year. And the neat thing is, this is the youngest group that actually was able to go through the whole process, the whole tour. Usually they just have our age group going to the class or the schoolroom, and talking with them, we're like, yep, let's give you the whole experience. So that was amazing for our students to see what we talked about in the book in real life.
We also want to highlight our goal of enhancing student.
And then school forest, we head out twice a year in the fall and spring, and as you can see, notebooks in hand. We talk about the history of the forest, but then also take time to write, reflect, do some free writing, some poetry, observation, and using all those senses and putting it on paper, and just enjoying our great outdoor classroom. And then each year we do Stock It Up, where the students get fake $20,000 to invest in 2 companies, and they watch their stocks each week, ride that roller coaster of those highs and lows. And this year we had Rob Hatch and his associate from Tax Preferred Advisors come in and share about other ways to invest money, what they do, and just financial literacy. And a great opportunity for some of our students to think career with some accounting or tax work. So appreciate Rob and all that crew coming down and making that learning on the stock market come alive.
And then winter gear, there's a lot. So this is always, yeah, so kids know that there's a lot about their routine and principles and like outdoor and indoor activities. She has made videos
Another different they got to see and touch different animals that they.
Yeah, so we have to teach all of them those things you have. You can see how like if they aren't able to do these things.
Made it out to the school forest.
Affects the school just did a great job of worries, and then you can't get down to these things. Yep.
So I'm almost like. And then we had some different speakers coming in.
So these are
working with Stock Prairie Healthcare. They bring in all the tools, all the food,
presentation to teach the kids about some hands off. This one talked about just the different colors of produce and how it affects different parts of your body in a positive way. And they've got to make a homemade ranch on the pizza, or vegetable pizza, and then this connected great to your pilot magnetic learners, and it connected great to what we were talking about right in the classroom. So we're able to bring those experiences that we have beginning of the year,
So every classroom will go in, whether assistants or not, you see the poster.
Questions you have?
Bill does a lot of SAL lessons.
I have a personal question. I remember in fourth grade, I took that field trip, but we also dressed up as pioneers. And
Giving everybody a heads up, we're in our final minutes.
Yes, so there-
Final minutes.
So I think that might have been the Trinity Farm? No?
Yeah, or we sometimes did it at the fairgrounds too, at times.
They don't still do that.
They did not.
No, him
Did you
and
make
Ken-
butter and stuff too?
I did.
Yeah.
I had a full pioneer fries.
Yeah.
But I also had a question, if you wanna go back closer to the top. You talked about how studies showed that, having real world context and, like that kind of learning,
It's challenging, like, a whole level of
seen an increase in your test scores? Or
We have seen an increase in test scores. Building.
to be like, you would find things to do, but
But also part of what you, part of that building is.
We are at the end of our time. I'm gonna ask you to finish your piece and then go ahead and we'll rotate. I believe your final station.
when they have those experiences, so I'm not sure that you can necessarily the way our brains put that down on paper, but I think that's
You just tell us for all you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
They've got the call.
And just following your son and all this.
You got mine?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I think you know all of us, we should introduce ourselves. Do you know all of us? Yes. Okay, yeah, I think we should introduce ourselves. So, thank you for, coming and listening to our gallery walk as we were reflecting as an impact team on what we wanted to discuss and share with you. We were just thinking about, what we've covered so far and what we haven't covered. And we saw a lot of the things that we were like, yeah, we need to share this, like, oh, we share that.
Hey! Shh! You trying to listen over here?
Oh, sorry, you're fine, I can use my gym voice. And we decided that one thing we haven't highlighted is just our field trips and field studies and our guest speakers, which are a part of what we do, in the building. And especially as we think about our age of students, and really just at that prime age to be able to utilize, these opportunities to enhance our learning that happens already in the classroom. And so, we really do see the way that this transforms like abstract concepts into like actually, oh, this does apply to life. They're just asking me to learn these things for no reason, right? And so, so I think that obviously is a benefit on our end, but we just really see that light bulb moments. We also just the opportunity to be able to connect kids with other people who are passionate about what they do and care about kids is just amazing as well. It does support our district mission and obviously the pillars of the strategic plan as well. In fact, we were supposed to only have 2 pillars, but we really feel like it covers 3. So, but with those, before we kind of, yeah, we tried. It's us in general. Yeah, but when we try to, before we get into the impact, I'll let Mrs. Collins kind of share this impact.
All right, these are some of the great kiddos that I get to work with every day. This year we have the opportunity to, work with transitions. Adora, she usually takes her kiddos over to the bank. They're in charge of making sure that the Booster Club, everything is well maintained, everything is.
They're the ones that do that, nice
Mhm.
job.
Yes. Well, due to our caseload this year, one of our friends here, has AC, has some hard times with seeing and everything. So my 2 friends, he is actually mentoring my 2 friends and helping him. So we go every 2 weeks, or a week and a half depending, and work together. So, I mean, the boosters have done a great job for us. They have, we used to have just shelves, so that was kind of crazy. Now we have this beautiful,
This is really nice.
yes, so that is super great, and it's working on our, socialization, it's working on eye contact. There's so many great positive things that, bringing us into the community, and giving us a lot of.
who picked those two guys? Did you pick them to work with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Or did they volunteer?
It was a group selection of all of us. Yeah, so that's been a lot of fun. So what is the impact of field trips and these field studies? Basically, it's that hands-on, things that we can't bring into the classroom, we get to go out and. So, you're getting that seeing, you're getting that touching, and what's happening is that's making that excitement for those kids to go out and do more and learn more. On that real world context, getting those experiences and seeing how our classwork and our schoolwork actually connects to something outside of just in our classroom. Your studies are showing that, that increases our academic performances. Kids are excited. Kids want to learn. They find that and they move and they keep on wanting to learn more. Your grades, your excitement, everything. It's just something amazing to watch them just see that little spark and how it just, and the last thing is social and cultural development. A lot of our kids don't get those opportunities as other kids do. So when you're looking at some of the field trip opportunities that our children are getting, our students are getting, these are opportunities that they might not get otherwise. So by us giving those opportunities, those are experiences that will teach them that they won't forget, So.
In addition to that, we also have a big impact with guest speakers that come in, and gives the kids career exposure and some inspiration to help them look at these different and diverse career paths. Gives them some real world experiences and help them just look at what they might want to do in the future. Gives them some in-depth knowledge of this, these speakers are experts in what field they're coming in and talking about, so there's specific topics that just helps them understand beyond what's available to them as they read them in textbooks in class. They get some diverse perspectives, so these guest speakers bring in new voices and perspectives into the classroom, just demonstrating that learning is a collaborative effort, and then contextualizing learning too, just shows how these academic skills are applied in professional settings, and then shows them how that hard work is just kind of done, how it is.
So, we have some pictures from each of the teams, and so this is third grade LES. Part of their My View literacy is looking at how can they improve some parks or some spaces. And so they called Mallards, and actually the Mallards had never had a school grouping before. And so we were there first, and they gave us a big tour. They got to play kickball on their field. They got to see some things in action. Also, in each of the pictures, each of the groups, you're going to see their trip to the school forest. So this is a third grade when they're out on the school forest. But when you think about their trip to the Mallards, they took that learning and then also some other research and then created projects. And then they actually thought about how can we apply this, and they did it to the fields down in the park. Forest Park, thank you. And some renovation to those fields, and they applied for the Optimus grant, and they got it. And so the city has a grant due to the third graders applying for it to build these renovations. So, fourth grade, Pioneer Village, obviously there's social studies standards in fourth grade, and this is one of the experiences they get every year. And so they go to Reedsburg and get to have that experience every year. Fourth grade at the school forest at the beginning of the year. Yeah. And then this couple actually are Lodi natives. They live in Lodi, and they are archaeologists. And so they brought in their rocks, their minerals, and they are very passionate and knowledgeable about what they do. And students got to handle things and got to ask questions, and it was just a really neat learning experience for our fourth graders. Fifth grade.
All right, so we took a beautiful drive down to Spring Green for Frank Lloyd Wright Taliesin. It's connected to our My View story, where they read about the Roby House in Chicago. And for a couple of years, we've always wanted to get there and have them really see it. And so we were able to do that this year. And a really cool thing is normally with our age group, they only put them in like the schoolroom where they did all the drafting. But after we're talking with them, they're just like, yeah, let's give them the whole thing. So our kids got to go through the whole tour of Taliesin. Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. And it just brought that learning to life.
Yeah, hopefully our last round will go down, but this helps kids.
Like heavy preference of that field trip is one of my favorites. And then school forest, head out there in the fall and spring, and as you can see, notebooks in hand. We talk about the history of the forest, but also take time to do some writing connected to our literacy. And just enjoy a great classroom. And then in 5th grade, we do Stock It Up, and that's where they get $20,000, not real, money to invest in 2 companies, and they follow them each week on their stocks. And go through the ebbs and flows of the stock market. And this year we had Rob Hatch and his associate from Preferred Tax Advisors come down and present their knowledge of how to invest money, getting that financial literacy, other things to do, and then also possible career as being an accountant. So really appreciate Rob for coming and bringing that learning to life for us.
Related to Alpha, we talked a lot about teaching and enrollment and so.
This predictable piece right here helps the students. Yep.
For sure.
We're just giving them to touch and feel directions. Different kids would miss this versus just having this to help support, like, you know.
We made it out to the school forest as well, we just did a great job of organizing and ensuring that all the kids in our building have the opportunity this year. We're all going out again in the springtime. And then this is the second year that we worked with Secretary Health. They come in with all the tools that we need, all the food, the prepping is done. The kids get to learn about a different aspect of healthy eating. This year they talked about the different colors of the rainbow when it comes to produce and what parts of their body it affects in a positive way. And then
It's another
homemade ranch.
Yeah, we should really have this still up there.
I should have brought Dylan.
Everybody heads up, we're on our final minute. Final minute.
They just light up, and I love
Bring those conversations together.
This is like so much fun, it's real bright, everybody's doing a little thing.
So one of the things I think I would highlight before we take some questions again is just, we get a lot of feedback from guests or community. Just how great our kids are. Obviously our staff does a lot to help set them up for success. But it just really has been a really good experience for our staff, but also for our students and for the guest speakers and the places we've been to. Any questions?
No, but I have a comment, as a school board member, and even before that, I always used to hear from any place they went, and different people.
No, it's my favorite part,
Especially
these
places
ladies.
where you have multiple
But I would say
schools
it also
coming.
helps with the site.
I always hear with those
Right,
women,
because
it's
from the
so
school, it's
good.
predictability,
And I
having
do
this, making those
Mackenzie
connections,
thing
making
with
sure.
the maple syrup. It's true.
Sense of belonging, so.
I mean, there are the good schools, but they are always, they're dressed right, they're not, and they're
go.
ready to go.
Well, it has a lot to do with you guys.
Well, and thank you for.
All right, if you could wrap up your conversation and head back to your seats, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
We still have a lot of these.
Thank you for
Good night.
Yep.
Doing great, thank you.
Adrian, go take them to your base.
I gotta have them in the right position here. Don't be so off.
I know you can't carry you into the bathroom. Gallery walk is wonderful.
And it's in my pocket, I was
As
I shut down his email.
you're doing such good.
Absolutely.
Everything's blocked. We can't do anything.
Good is always the same.
Good seeing you.
As teachers, they're smart now. Thank you so much. They know so much.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But they're not maybe emotional still.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Was that Lease?
All right.
Oh, yeah. I had him at Owens.
10 minutes.
I'm assuming we have no public input. Okay. If we did, they probably left. No. All right, we are going to continue with our consent agenda. First of all, I do want to say, I know a lot of them left, but thank you guys. I know you were part of that too. Like, that's awesome. We love that. I know
It's the most fun.
it's time consuming, but it's always awesome to hear about everything that's going on. So thank you guys for doing that.
And important to keep us informed.
Yes, yes. All right, so we have our approval of our minutes. We have our vouchers. We have fundraiser request, the softball fundraiser request for a launch-a-thon call-out fundraiser from March 18th to March 30th. We do not have any fundraiser reports. We have 2 field trip requests. Lodi High School music trip will be spring break, March 20th to 25th of 2027. And then we have a baseball tournament in April of this year. We have some committee recommendations for approval, dealing with our calendar. Under other, we have a Sunday night activity request and a high school discipline report. Under retirements, we have primary school custodian, middle school custodian, kindergarten teacher, and resignations, volunteer girls softball coach, and primary school special education assistant. Under co-curricular, we have a volunteer baseball coach, 3 assistant baseball coaches, assistant track coach at 70%, and assistant basketball coach. Under crew, we have lifeguard and lifeguard WSI. We have 2 of those, and then we have 3 volleyball volunteers. Regular staff, we have a long-term primary school physical education substitute teacher. And under personnel, we have 4 leave without pay request.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second, but I wanted to, was there something,
Well,
Scott?
Let me,
Okay, yep.
motion by Terry, second by Sarah Ramish. Any more discussion?
Yes. Did you,
Just verifying the dates on the
Oh, the
the
baseball
baseball
tournament.
tournament
We
dates?
realized the dates
They
on
don't line up.
handwritten thing, he said he said April 19th to the 24th, and, or whatever.
The dates that are listed in board docs are the correct ones. He
Okay.
had the wrong ones listed in his.
I don't know if it
Okay.
needs to be corrected on that form or if it doesn't matter, but I just noticed the dates didn't align.
So the
I know when they're going, I know what
So
they're
on
doing.
here,
on the board docs.
Yes.
yeah, yep, 24th to 25th, but then on his, I think he put the 19th, so.
I just sent you an email, Joe, that explains it.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you, Adam.
great. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, we have our administrative reports. We have our LCAT report.
All right. So, the Lodi Wrestling Program hosted a wrestling tournament to promote mental health awareness on Friday, January 30th, 2026. LCAT, in partnership with Prevent Suicide Columbia County, attended the event to promote 988, the Suicide and Crisis Hotline. LCAT enjoyed connecting with community members throughout the tournament. In the afternoon, Sarah and Brian set up a booth at the high school during both lunch periods. They had meaningful conversation with high school students about mental health awareness. LCAT has been promoting the social media campaign Free Mind. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention developed the Free Mind campaign to help prevent and reduce drug use and overdose among youth. The campaign was created through research and real conversations with youth parents and caregivers. Through these conversations, the CDC identified a need to address the connection between substance use and mental health among young ages 12 through 17. LCAT has been invited to present at Reach Out Lodi on Wednesday, February 25th from 1 o'clock to 1:45 as part of their Wellness Wednesday series. The presentation will focus on how to properly and securely store medications in your home. It will also cover how to safely dispose of unwanted or expired medications. This event is open to the public and free to attend. Mark your calendars for a presentation by Certified Prevention Specialist Ricky Barton on Monday, March 2nd from 6 to 7 p.m. Ricky will discuss the links between social media, substance use, and mental health. Join us for an in-person watch party at Lodi Elementary School where free child care will be available. A short discussion will follow the presentation. You can watch virtually. Please RSVP on our Facebook page or website. The presentation will be recorded and available later on the school's YouTube channel. This is March 2nd from 6 to 7 p.m. After feedback from first responders, LCAT members, and community members, we will hold the 12th annual Lodi National Night Out on Tuesday, August 4th, 2026, from 5 to 7:30 p.m. It's going to be at Lewis Burns Park in Harmony Grove, West 10988 Rodney Drive, Harmony Grove. This change is pending approval by the Town of Lodi Board of Supervisors. This is all happening due to road construction on Fair Street, and Haberman Park will not be available for this year's event of LCAT's National Night Out. It's exciting to engage with a new group of residents in our community, aligning with our strategic plans and engagement goals. Please plan to attend LCAT's annual award ceremony scheduled for Wednesday morning, March 18th, from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. at the district office. The LCAT Award recognizes students, individuals, community members, and groups who advance our vision of creating a community where all youth is empowered to make healthy choices. And that's it.
It's a lot, thank you.
That was a lot.
I just have a quick question on the, with the National Night Out.
Yep.
Approval from the Town of Lodi Board, do we know when the Town of Lodi is going to
No, I don't know, but we've got
vote
until
on that?
August.
Okay, I will reach out to
Yep.
a few people and find out when
I mean,
they'll
I
take
would
that up, cause
imagine
I'll
it's-
gladly go and support and say, you need to pass this.
Oh,
You know, approve
well,
it.
I mean, it's a matter of being able to move where we're having it because.
No,
of
no,
the
I know,
LCAT.
but, you know,
Yeah.
just to
No.
Yeah.
get on the town.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yep, so we know
Do
what
it,
we're
do it.
doing.
Yeah.
The faster we know, I mean, our big concern, I think, is people are so used to just walking downtown. And to be able to really get the word out that we're moving for this year, so. But everybody really looked over what's there to offer, you know, the community is making it real, you know, welcoming and easy to have. I think it'll be nice, there's shade, I mean, that's one of my biggest concerns always in August in Wisconsin lately, is that we have some shade and ability to just kinda hang out, so.
Well, I've heard good things. I think the community is excited about
Oh,
it.
yeah,
so.
I think they are too.
Student services.
Thanks, Heather. Last week was National School Counselor Week.
Well, congratulations.
The theme for this year was School Counselors Amplify Student Success. This week helps bring awareness to the specialized role that our school counselors play in our school buildings. So a thanks to Val, Carrie, Mike, Grant, and Megan for their work to support students' academic, social, emotional, and career development. I'd also like to provide a brief update on our continued partnership with the Psychotherapy Center of Wanakee. Currently, we have 5 therapists that are visiting our school buildings throughout the week. Each month, the therapists are providing on average 87 sessions for our students. We also recently partnered with PCOW in a new way. During our January 19th workday, staff were invited to schedule a virtual session with a therapist to support their own mental health and wellness. Therapists provided a safe, supportive space to talk through challenges, strategies to manage stress, and other areas of mental health wellness. We were able to offer 45-minute sessions for 11 staff members during this event, hosted by the Wellness Committee. And finally, I would like to highlight our Educational Assistant Leadership Group. This group meets quarterly, and really the purpose is to bridge the gap between that front line of student services and our district administration. Our goals have included continued work on onboarding new EAs into our schools, among other things. They help create an aligned support system across our schools, and they're very helpful when the district is seeking their input on various topics. During our last meeting, we discussed the upcoming assessment, the spring assessment window, and also thought about new ideas to transition our students from one school year to the next, to have a successful start to that next school year. So thank you to Kathy, Krista, Amanda, Norma Jean, Yolanda, and Abby for all of their leadership.
Mrs. Barman is still here.
Awesome. Thanks,
love it.
Adria.
Love it.
Lodi Primary School.
Hi, good evening. 2 things I just want to highlight. The first one is in regards to Pillar 1. We talked at the Gallery Walk a little bit about some things we're doing to support our scorecard, but this goal is the kind of like the foundational pieces that help us reach our scorecard. So looking mid-year, super excited about the celebrations we have for 4K with identifying uppercase and lowercase letters and working towards our goals for that. Kindergarten, we're working on, again, trying to make sure our composite score that at least 75% of the students are at or above the 25th percentile by the end of the year. At mid-year, we were at 87%. First grade, we want, again, the 75% at or above that 25th. We're at 88% for that. And second grade, same goal of 75%, we're at 85.1%. One of the things is that obviously those goals change as we get to the spring, so it doesn't mean like we've made the goal completely yet. Obviously it'll change as we're going, but it's very exciting to see what our teachers are doing to support our students. Pillar 2, I just want to highlight, we gave the student staff connection survey. We actually gave this in November. I'm getting a little bit late back to this, but we did this again. We did this last year, was the first time. And you can see the data from 2024 and 2025 to this year. And we have, looking at the scores right here, 96% of our students had 3 or more connections with staff. This year, instead of breaking it down by 3 connections, 4 connections, or 5 or more, we thought that if you had 3 connections or more, that really exemplified that number. So we took the survey, we looked at this information, and then Val and I reached out to the classroom teachers to talk to them about any students that maybe did not have the 0 connection or 1 connection or 2 that they had to see if that's something that is a deeper conversation. We have lots of different supports already that we're doing tier 1, but also Mrs. Bilkey works with different students, and I do as well to help support that. But again, continue to have a lot of connections between our students and our staff. So those are the 2 main things I want to highlight tonight.
Thank you.
Yep.
Student report.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of keeping things a little bit more brief. There's a lot of really fun events that happen at the high school and for students. So I'm just highlighting on some of the things that are different and out of the normal. So in early January, the a cappella group Fundamentally Sound from UW-Madison and Impromptu from UW-Eau Claire came and they performed some songs, and they gave super helpful tips about vocal percussion and singing in a cappella groups, just because that's something that's not typically in choir classes. It's like an extracurricular that many students do. And so it was super fun to get college level competition expertise, and that really helped us. We had Rock the Gym, which was held on Thursday, January 22nd. As a result of the cold weather, but we did still have a very good turnout. Both girls and boys basketball teams won against Poinet.
Woohoo!
So that's pretty cool. And then forensics did very well, placing at Capitol Conference, placing first in small teams, and we also had some individual conference champions as followed.
Awesome.
Good job.
Awesome. Thank you. Lodi Elementary OSC.
Hello, yeah, just a couple of things to highlight from the board report. First of all, we have parent-teacher conferences going on this week. So shout out to staff for the extra work that entails, and thank you families who are taking advantage of that opportunity. Our spring conferences, we call them, are by invite, so any parent can request a conference, or teachers can request a conference with families. The report cards come home this Thursday, so thank you to staff for their work on that, and families can be expecting those. Also, we had a nice, good stretch there of inside recess, and so just took some pictures of ways that we had to get a little creative, and ways that we try to give them some opportunities for exercise even when we are stuck inside. And then something that we've been doing for a while is our February kindness calendar and challenge. And so we really look at ways that we can help students through this month of February and staff. And so there's lots of different little things we do. Some of those videos are really about Steve Hartman and Kindness 101 challenges and getting kids to think about different ways that they can make a difference and that ripple effect, not just in our learning community, but in the world. And then also I put on here just some information for you for our OSC enrollment information, kind of our timeline of where we're at with that, because that has started. We had our info night, OSC info night, the 3rd of February, so last week. And then we have some information going out, and then that OSC open enrollment is February 15th through March 15th. And then these are for last month, our Guardians of Lodi Pride. So their pictures.
Awesome. Thank you. They're so cute. And Lodi Middle School.
Good evening, board. First thing, our impact team met to highlight our building scorecard and some celebrations that we had in Pillar 1. We continue to show strong growth in math and reading and math. Pillar 2, 99% of our students report they feel safe at school, which is up from 96%. And 99% of students feel their teachers care about them, up from 98%. We continue to send homeroom monthly communications, and actually the teachers send a picture of themselves with some little blurbs of like get to know me kinds of things, like what is my favorite food, where did I go to high school, those kinds of things, just to kind of help kind of foster that connection.
Remind students that teachers are humans too, right?
Teachers are. So are principals, by the way.
Yeah.
Pillar 4, we continue to pass around the GOAT Award. Each month a staff member recognizes another one. So this week, actually, on Friday, we have a staff member that'll give it to someone else. Next up is the Spelling Bee. So I want to thank Patty Heinzman for putting together our district Spelling Bee. And we did it at the PAC at the high school for the second year in a row, so thanks, Joe, for letting us use your space. But then the top 2 people from this one go on to the regional spelling bee, and if you scroll down a little bit there, Caden Ray, keep going. Caden Ray was the champion of the regional spelling bee, which is absolutely amazing. So he will actually represent Lodi Middle School at the state spelling bee in Madison on March 21st. So,
Oh my.
so yeah.
We've got a great spelling.
Let's scroll down to Pillar 2, Tween Read Week. So certainly in school we work a lot on skill building, but we also need to make sure that we are teaching a love of reading as well. So I want to thank Elise Kearney. During our win time for 1 week, usually we do it late December, early January, she organizes fun activities. They played a game called Library Games. They did the Masked Reader. They did Cozy Up and Read. They also created Cozy Bookmarks. And Tyler, I don't know, if you click on the link, will it play it, and can you hear it?
Yeah, it plays.
So click on the top one there. So you get an idea of the Master Reader here.
Hello, my 3 clues are that I enjoy being outdoors. I have 7 children, and this is my 4th year in Lodi, so I know all of you.
So this is a staff member?
My favorite place
And they masked their voice.
is with my kids before they go to bed.
Staff member in this room.
Oh, my favorite book is Touching Spear Bear by Ben Michelson.
All right, can you do the reveal here?
Who are you?
You don't need to play the reveal very long, it's just the reveal. So you can close this out.
Close that one.
Reveal.
Oh.
That's where I'm gonna be.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I haven't looked.
It has to be.
He's got a ton of kids.
Who does? No, but it's a middle school.
No.
Oh, it's
Could be
not?
anybody.
It is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Ah.
Hello, everyone.
7 kids?
I'm
You
gonna
can go
read
ahead
you this
and
book.
pause it.
Called.
That's
So
fun.
thank you
Oh
guys
my
for doing
gosh.
that. I'm sorry to embarrass you, but they're just,
That's fun.
unless you see
Anything for
it,
kids. Anything for kids.
unless
Okay,
you
so the
see it, it's
computer
hard.
does that voice. You didn't.
I did not.
No,
Okay.
they have a-
She like has a voice mixer thing.
That's awesome.
Did they guess you?
Most of them did guess
Okay.
Eric.
After
Did
the
they?
7 kids?
Well, maybe
I know
you're
about 7
right.
kids, but there's a master reader every
That's
day of the
awesome.
week.
That's fun.
I also have some pictures of indoor recess. We did invest in some games this year, which has made a big difference. The giant Uno cards are really funny to watch the kids play with. But the games have been really good to help them socialize during indoor
Yeah.
recess.
They probably like indoor recess.
They like it, but they need to go outside.
Yes, they do.
If you scroll down a little more, we did have our annual student staff volleyball showdown, which was a lot of fun, and the staff won again, as you can see from the trophy. It's actually one of the interview questions I have now.
Who's
is
the
like,
refs
you know,
for this? Is it staff?
It's just the honor system. It's just the honor system, but, most importantly, no one got hurt, so we were able to have school that day. Want to highlight our Students of the Month, so congratulations to Students of the Month that were honored for their perseverance. And then under Innovative Community Connection, our 6th grade chorus was selected for Wisconsin in Our Schools Month to sing at the state capitol. So they'll sing at the state capitol on Tuesday, March 31st. Between 12 and 1 will be their performance. And I want to thank Angela Roberts for going through the application process and getting that opportunity for our students. And for district workforce, just highlighting our special education staff and all the amazing things they do to support all students, but especially those that struggle most. And then highlight our social emotional learning team for all the work they do.
Awesome. Thank you. High school.
All right, thanks, Heather. First, I want to recognize some of the amazing things that our students are doing. So, Michigan Tech Merit Honor, our science department was able to pick 2 students, one junior and senior, Mara Lane and Jane Domas. So they were recognized at school as being hopefully future engineers. This is a program that's been going on for a while, and we've picked 2 students over there. So congratulations, Mara and Jane. Some athletic milestones that were put out on social media. Congratulations to seniors Theo Trader and Taylor Reese, both accomplishing the goal of scoring 1,000 points in their career, which is pretty awesome. It's so fun to talk about those 2 because they're not just good basketball players, but they're good students and they're great people. So, and they're really good leaders in our school. And then in wrestling, we had a couple 100 win in their careers, senior Alex Brynick and junior Briar Caves. And again, great students, great kids, do a lot for our school besides just what they do in their sports. You can see our Students of the Month, which we celebrate every year, and there they are. Also some Microsoft Office Industry certification in Sue Ziegler's class, so you can see the 4 students. Riley Birchler, Isaiah Bergrum, Sydney Gruhl, Allison Coots, and Max Oberlin. Congratulations to them. They not only got through Word, but some of them actually got through the PowerPoint Industry certification as well. So congratulations to them. Emily talked a little bit about the next part, and that was the Madison Fundamentally Sound Eau Claire's Impromptu. Underneath that is Wisconsin Metalsmiths Guild. So Whitney reached out to me, Whitney Robarge reached out to me about a month ago and said that this guild was interested in visiting our school. And it was really incredible. There were about 8 individuals, or maybe 10 individuals that look like retired people that are really into art. And they brought in all their metal materials and they worked with our students. Wow. So our students had an opportunity to do that. It was a great experience. They actually had a couple openings and I almost jumped in, but I decided not to. I walked away from it. But so it was really neat that they were able to visit. I wanted to recognize LCAT, Brian Bilsey and Sarah McChesney for partnering with Lodi Wrestling. They were able to be at our Einerson and Elsing Memorial Wrestling Tournament, and they were also able to be at our lunch the day of to talk to our students about mental wellness and encouraging conversations about mental wellness. They were there as well as a few other people to support our wrestling team that night, so it was a cool event. Leadership Council, you can read a little bit about some of the things that they're doing. I did want to mention that we are going to have our ACT again coming up March 10th, and we are going to have a practice opportunity for our 9th and 10th graders. At this point, looking at my survey, we have about 35 kids that have signed up for that, and usually we'll get a few more, so they'll get an opportunity to take the practice ACT. And then there's some information that's been sent out to scholarships. To our seniors about scholarships, and it's that time of the year again, where there's tons of scholarship opportunities, both locally and in other places that our seniors can take advantage of. So that's been communicated to seniors and their families. And then you can also see some of the links that are related to our scholarship booklet, scholarship application, and what the checklist looks like. So you can click on those if you're interested. And then, of course, our advocate videos and some of the great photography that Aubrey Harper takes for our students in athletics. I also wanted to personally thank Mr. Lemke and Ms. Kinnaden, Grant and Megan, for all they do for our students on a daily basis, and a lot of things that they do behind the scenes that nobody knows that they do to think about our counselors, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Curriculum.
First item there is our mid-year checkpoint, where we have our winter assessment window data, and I put that together in a presentation for educators, principals to review. They've already done that. They will do that at a deeper level at our Friday PD day this week. And also, we review this at the curriculum committee level, so you can go ahead and take a look at that when you have time. Speaking about our upcoming professional development day, we're always so thankful that we have the opportunity to have these. I know it's a challenge sometimes for families to have your child not be in school that day, but we truly feel that on those days, the work that we do enhances the time that we have with your children when they are here with us. So we have a lot going on in those days. We have building level meetings. We have in each building teacher teams who are meeting in PLCs to talk about curriculum and instruction and how to make enhancements and how to do adjustments at different points in the year when we need to change to better affect the way we're impacting student outcomes. And then we have a variety of other things that are going on in place. So just this Friday, we're gonna have the PE department will have their annual lifeguard recertification. We've got state board exam proctor training, state ACT exam proctor training. We're gonna be talking about literacy in a variety of ways. We're gonna be talking to our staff again about AI, how that can potentially enhance our workflows here locally, but we're also gonna be talking about AI policy. And then also the winter data reviews. So that, a lot going on those Fridays. Speaking of AI, I have just an update here. Yes, we are thinking about it. We have a team in the district who meets on this topic weekly. We have an updated draft policy from our policy partner Neola that we've been combing through and saying, okay, how does that potentially best fit what we'd like to see here in Lodi? We're taking that to our educators for feedback at this Friday to get additional feedback, and then we have a number of topics that fall under this umbrella that we're going to be bringing to both the curriculum committee and the policy committee in the meeting in the upcoming months. And then finally, I just want to highlight at the end, February is also CTE Recognition Month, Career and Technical Education, and we have some phenomenal career and technical education teachers here in the school district of Lodi. So maybe you recently saw this post out on Facebook. We're going to have a couple of more posts coming out that's going to highlight for our community our increasing youth apprenticeship numbers that we've seen as a result of this group and their great work over the past 5 or so years, and then also our increasing industry recognized certifications that students are earning, and I know Joe highlighted a little bit of that a moment ago.
Awesome.
This all sounds so
Thank
good.
you. Vince, are you up for your report?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks to staff and administration for being here for the gallery walk. We appreciate that. I also want to thank the board and the administrators for attending the board retreat on January 26th. It's always good for the board administration to spend time together outside the formality of a board meeting or board committee meeting. But I also understand it's another night out of people's lives, so I thank everybody for taking part in those. I also know it was mentioned about parent-teacher conferences coming up. I just want to encourage parents and guardians to attend parent-teacher conferences. These are important opportunities to connect with your child's teacher. I also want to thank our staff for being here for parent-teacher conference nights and other nights. I appreciate the amount of time and effort staff put into those conferences for families while taking away from their own families. A couple other things I want to mention. February 8th to 13th is Wisconsin School Bus Driver Appreciation Week. So we are so grateful for the amazing bus company, GoBussin. And we had such fantastic people getting our kids to and from school safely every day. And finally, next week, February 16th and 20th, is Wisconsin Adult Crossing Guard Appreciation Week. A huge shout out to all those who serve in these very important roles across the district. We appreciate them being out there each and every day to ensure our students get to and from school safely. Thank you.
The appreciation, well, if we didn't hear it, appreciation week for the bus drivers and also appreciation next week for crossing guards.
Yes. Thank you. I don't know about you, but I have felt like I have had more sick days than healthy days this year so far. I'm bringing up sickness for two reasons. Obviously, it's our responsibility to stay away and try not to spread the symptoms, but I do have to say at least our world is done with giving mean looks when someone has a stuffy nose or sneezes. I'll be the first to admit that the crazy initial COVID era brought me a lot of sadness. One of the many helpless feelings I had was the fear of volunteers and parent groups disappearing in our schools. I loved my volunteering duties and being involved in as many groups and activities that my kids were associated with. That came to a dead stop when COVID hit. But I'm so incredibly happy to see that groups and organizations have been coming back along with more opportunities to volunteer. I know there is always a need for more volunteers in numerous clubs and organizations in our district, so please do not misunderstand me and think that volunteering positions are filled. There is always a need for more help, but the opportunities are expanding thanks to many wonderful people in our district that are taking the lead to bring these things back. The second reason I was bringing up sickness was that I had to miss out on the community dinner last week put on by our newly formed PTO. Nothing worse than being sick and mad at the same time. I still remember hearing the disappointing news when our PTO was dissolved years ago, and I was so incredibly happy to hear it is back. I'm also a huge advocate and very appreciative of our sports and music booster clubs. Those may be the most known volunteer groups, but being a parent in our district for 20 plus years, I know all the time and volunteering that our parents and community members do that never gets mentioned. And now being on the board, I also see all the people in our community that are volunteering without ever working directly with our students. But their time, effort, and expertise are playing a part in decisions and opportunities that are affecting our students and giving them the environment to grow and learn. Volunteering is such a great opportunity to get involved and make sure that the activity you are volunteering for stays active. Nothing worse than hearing that your child's favorite group or club is going away from lack of help. I can't name names because I will obviously miss someone, but you know who you are, and I want to say thank you to all of our district and community volunteers. There is no way to ever show our appreciation for all your time, effort, and love that you have given to our students. So to all of you helping in the classroom, coaching, managing, directing, bringing in snacks, giving rides to your child's teammates, organizing spreadsheets, filling out rosters, bringing in extra supplies, finding sponsors, working concessions, being involved in decision-making groups, sorting equipment, and you know I could go on and on. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You are appreciated, and we are so incredibly grateful to you. You are a big part of why our students, teachers, and staff feel supported and what makes our community so amazing to be a part of.
Nice.
Thank you. I was really bummed. I wanted to go to that. I was laying in bed. Okay, high school roofing bids. So, Vince, did you want to talk about this, or you want facility and finance?
Sure, I can just briefly, the administration met with CG Schmidt to review the roofing bids for the high school project scheduled for this summer, which is part of the 2022 referendum. 7 bids were received, with Malley Roofing submitting the lowest bid. The total bid package, including roofing, some insulation work, electrical, and HVAC, was $800,000, $148. $800,148, which is well under the budgeted amount, and I would recommend approval of this bid.
I make a motion to approve the bid package as submitted by CG Schmidt for the roofing project in the summer of 2026.
I'll second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Terry. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And then our solar panel bids.
Yeah, so Upper 90 Energy coordinated RFP process to review solar project scope across the district's 5 buildings. Upper 90 recommended the bid from Elin Electric based on the lowest overall bid, a longer 30-year solar panel warranty, and a strong track record of successful solar projects. The Facility and Finance Committee reviewed these bids and is recommending approval of the solar project bid from Elin Electric to the full board.
I'll make a motion to move to approve the solar project bid from Eland Electric.
And I'll second.
Motion by Sarah Ramish, second by Adam. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And then we have our solar lease resolution.
Yeah, as part of the process of obtaining a lease, the board has to formally adopt a solar lease resolution. The resolution has been reviewed by our legal counsel and is required for the district to acquire a lease with a tax-exempt leasing company. So I would recommend approval of this resolution.
Okay, I'll move to approve the solar lease resolution as presented.
And I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Adam. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And then we have our administrator director contract extensions.
Yeah, in past years, the board has moved to extend administrator and director contracts with one-year extensions at the February board meeting. I'd ask them to do that again.
I will make a motion to approve administrator and director contracts with one-year extension through June 2028 for Ms. Fossbender, Mr. Schooneman, Mr. Pertzborn, Mr. Jelinek, Ms. Schrader, Dr. Carls, Mr. Brewer, Mr. Marshall, Ms. Carls, Mr. Potter, Mr. Haran, Ms. Price, Mr. Lowe, and Ms. Section, with compensation levels to be determined prior to issuing of formal contracts.
I'll second that.
Motion by Sarah Ramish, second by Terry. Any more discussion? I do want to say that Vince gave us quite
Yes.
explanation of everybody, and I just want to thank you guys all for all you do. We see stuff and we think you're amazing, and then Vince tells us everything else that we don't even see, and we realize that we are very grateful and lucky to have all of you, and everyone mentioned on here. But yes, and Vince, thank you. That was several pages of.
Yeah.
Of nice, really fun to read.
Yes.
But it's deserving, it's not just nice because he's nice,
Right.
it's nice because you guys
Oh, no.
deserve
Yes,
that.
what you,
Right,
It's
yes.
amazing stuff.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good to be a board member in Lodi.
Yes.
Feeding the good wolf.
Yes. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
I will make a motion to move to to approve the issuing of a two-year contract, district administrator contract to Dr. Breinig commencing on July 1, 2026 and extending through June 30th, 2028, with compensation level to be determined prior to issuing a formal contract.
I'll second. Motion by Sarah Ramish, second by Sarah Ripp. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, so did anyone else forget their state convention notes at home? Because I did.
Oh, mine were in my head.
I wasn't sure if we were supposed to talk about this or who was.
Usually what we do
Whatever
is
anybody
report on one thing you found helpful or interesting, or so that everyone can hear. So if you have one thing you want to talk about, that's all you gotta do.
Wow, there's
Okay.
a lot.
I'm going to start with mine then.
Okay.
Because I went to the student, really encouraging and having your students being leaders. And it was Platteville, I think.
But
And I'm not sure how big the high school was, but they have been doing this for a while. They've been doing it for a while. So basically, they had 500 students in the high school, and 100 of them are very active in, what we would call the science club. And, but anyway, so then it's moved down into middle school, and they really got started for a lot of reasons, to work on projects, and we have that wonderful impetus here, but they had pretty much started because some kids had watched other kids be left out or be picked on or whatever, and it's kind of like, well, just kind of starting this different kind of a culture. So they kind of branched off. They're in all different areas. Some are more science-based, some are more sports-based, some are more, different. They do everything. But what was really neat is when they all meet with the freshmen at the beginning of the year, when the freshmen come, and they invite them to come to their first meetings. Like they'll one-on-one invite somebody to come to a meeting. Well, if you're a freshman and a senior invites you to come to a meeting, or a junior or whatever, you're probably gonna hopefully show up. And I just thought that was that really struck me, that was such a unique way of, and once you've gone to the meeting, that if the right things happen, you'll probably go back. So I don't know, I just thought it was really fun to watch, and it reminded me of what we've got going on and all the great things and our bathrooms and yes. So anyway, but there was a whole lot, and of course I went to finances again, and you sit there and you go, we sat there for 2 hours. And you're just
I think they do that because then they make you really appreciate your business manager.
They do, and we do.
And they make you feel really dumb when you sit there.
It's just so complicated.
It is, it's crazy.
So I listen every year. Now this has been, I think, my 5th year of listening and, trying to kind of grab onto the pieces and parts. So that was my thing.
If I could interject on the part about leadership. So in our school, you know, we have SAPS Club, which has grown from a science club to problem solving more, which is where we get SAPS from. But I do think, like, we also have had an increase in participation in a lot of other clubs. Like, recently our leadership council meetings have grown too big to hold in a classroom that they have to meet in the commons.
Oh, wow.
And almost every table is filled with groups of friends, and whether they are 100% active or planning things, they do go to like big buddies and want to interact because they have also spread the word about that. And
it keeps going.
yeah, as an Interact Club president, like, I know that we work with the community and stuff like that, but that club has also grown so much that we sit on the floor and the Interact classroom, and I think SAPS does a big part in growing these programs, but everybody is really enthusiastic about joining things, and
We probably need to take you guys to the conference sometime. I mean, it was really, and I don't know, snow days and other things happened, it was also, their finals or whatever, but they ended up being able to bring a whole.
The school got canceled.
Yeah,
that
they
day.
ended up like with 20 students.
That was a really cold day.
Would not have had happened otherwise.
And then we didn't get to go to Rock the Gym.
No, we did not. Because we were in Milwaukee.
Yeah. There was one that I went to, and I wish Adria was there, because it was about how they kind of have redone their whole special education teachers, and like how they do interviews now. They like do interviews that last like almost the whole day, and they have the person, instead of just asking the questions and then giving the right answers, like going in and working with these kids, and then it's for them to see if they could handle it in a way, but then also like it would be for you guys to see, like, is this gonna be a good match if we want this person in there? I think the school was Campbell,
Interesting.
I have to look up the name. But I got her card, cause I didn't know the right questions to ask. And my daughter is in that now, so I kinda went, I would have loved to have her there, cause I know she would have, and cause I was talking to her about it, and then she started bringing stuff up that I didn't know what she was talking about. But, so I thought that was interesting, and then there was another one I went to where it's they come into your school and they look around and see they almost give you like not a report card, but in a way, like tell you what things you could do to make kids feel more included, or, you know, on like a race thing, make sure that, you know, you have posters that just aren't all a certain kind, you know, or gender, or not even that, but just in general, just making things more, it is actually crazy to think how posters in classrooms really do affect the kids. I mean, they're sitting there sometimes probably just staring at it, you know, or looking at it, seeing every day. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and not necessarily, I think, you know, I don't know if that would be something that we would need too much in Lodi. I feel like you guys do a pretty good job of that, but it would be something that was interesting, I thought, just to kind of make sure that kids are always feeling included and involved and stuff, so. Trying to think again, I don't have my notes in front of me.
Well, also a big shout out to our dear Sarah Ripp, who was on on a panel, and it was on AI, and it was really quite, I thought it was incredible, because it just made me think about AI and all the different directions. But what I loved was when somebody who obviously was involved with an elementary school and not happy about AI was really put it to this one presenter about, well, how can we be using AI with like little kids, with kids in primary school and elementary school, and we can't just have them not, you know, learn things. And so he gave a great answer, even though he's a college professor. His answer was just so wonderful. But it was like, just to like how they can start a writing assignment, and then they could do a little guided AI to help, like kind of spur on that, you know, kind of like a project-based learning thing, go to the next step. And then after that, take some more steps in creating their own. I just love the way I mean, it was like, well, yeah, it's a tool, you know?
Yeah.
It's like going from, when we did everything in cursive and now they're typing you know, it's like, yeah, we can do this. But anyway, it was just it was interesting, because it was more about, and then also how AI, when they're using it like in a college or high school level, and how your languages may make a difference, like if you have English as a second language, and how like you might ask the question, how it might, give you misinterprets what you said and give you a very funky answer.
Even with that, I've started to use it more and more at work for emails, because I'm a pretty common Gen Xer. And I just kind of say things that probably shouldn't be said that way. So I'll say, hey, ChatGPT, make this sound more professional.
Yes. Anyway,
I do, I use it almost every day.
That was also an extremely, I mean, they were all good. I mean, I find it 2 days of just, well.
There was a great session on referendum. Getting a referendum passed is by West Allis and West Milwaukee School District. And they have a very politically charged school district that lies in two different municipality areas. And they're two very different worlds. And they had templates and everything laid out on everything you should do. And it was all there, linked up. And so I summarized that and sent it to Vince and Jason so that we could use all those templates and use all those parts and follow their pathway to pass our referendum, hopefully.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I really enjoyed all the sessions I attended, but what I actually kind of walked away with, that I've been sort of thinking about more, was actually all three of the keynote speakers, kind of talked about this idea. Some more explicitly used this term, and others it was sort of inferred, but this idea of I see you. And I've been thinking about it a lot, that's, I think, one of the things that maybe, again, we're not always explicitly saying that with the things that we're doing in the district, but that's a huge thing, like, with kids, with us as just human beings, like just seeing each other and finding value, and finding something special about, everybody has something like unique and special. And so, I mean, that's what I've just been sort of thinking about quite a bit ever since the conference, and I really appreciated all the keynote speakers.
Yeah,
for that.
no, they were awesome.
Yeah. And actually Nikki, the saxophonist.
Yes.
Oh, the saxophone.
I don't know if I showed you guys, I told you guys this, did I? Yeah, it was pretty cool. He played the saxophone. He was had won a Grammy for his outreach, educational outreach, and afterwards, I just went up and I just said hi to him after the presentation, because he was just standing there, like, nobody was talking to him, and so I was like, I loved your presentation, and I said, oh, I have a 7th grader that plays the saxophone too, and he goes, oh, well, what's her name? And like, then I said, well, can I get a picture with you for my daughter? And he goes, oh, I'll make it even better. I'm gonna do a little, he played the saxophone and he had me videotape it, and he gave a little shout out to her. I was like, that is very cool. Yeah. She thought it was really special.
He was a 7th grade, or he was a middle school band instructor and a Grammy winner.
Yeah, he was amazing.
It was very cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, the keynote speakers every time, so last year I went and this year I went. And teaching at a technical college for a long time and been to a lot of beginning of the year things that are, none of them have ever been like either one of the conferences that I went to. Because I leave there and I'm like, I can do this. I see you. I can go to school and I see all of my students. I see my coworkers. Like, whatever it was that they were focusing on is like, feels life-changing to me, because I'm at a point in my career where I'm nearing the end of it and thinking I've seen this and done that, and no, not even close. Like, what you guys do and what the teachers at Lodi School do is like, I feel like nothing compared to what I've done, honestly, in my whole career. And those conferences point that out to me, like how you go above and beyond. I always thought I did. No, you guys go above and beyond, way above and beyond. And then, of course, I went to the finance meeting because I just keep thinking there's going to be some creative thing that comes up that's gonna be like, woo, I got the answer. It never happens. It's always just like, Jason. Like, yeah. They're just, like, for our school district, it's just the way that the system is set up. It needs to be a complete change at the
Yeah.
legislative level above what we can do. I'm gonna keep trying. A big sale's not gonna cut it, but, you know,
Hardly.
there's gotta be some other revenue sources we can come up with.
Yeah.
I just want anybody listening, like, I really appreciate all of our administrators and all of our teachers and what they do. It's amazing to me.
No, I get that. That's why the conference, that convention means, it really, you walk out of there just feeling amazing about our district. No,
It's very validating.
Yeah.
Plus you get some new things.
Yes.
Well, you guys should be going. I should be staying. That's how I feel every time I go. I feel guilty going.
All right, well, thanks, guys, and always thank you to the district for letting us do that, because it is quite the experience, and it's a good bonding experience, and we learn a lot and have fun at the same time, so thank you. We're gonna move on to policy review.
Yeah, the policy committee met on Wednesday, January 28th, to review the most recent updated recommendations from Neola. The committee reviewed and unanimously moved 15 policies and administrative guidelines to the board with a recommendation of approval.
I'll motion to approve the revisions to policies as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Terry. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I just have one thing, like, as I'm reading through every one of these, okay, I'm gonna say policy's not as bad as I thought it was, some of them were interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But the changes are just what's in green, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
Or struck
red
out,
was
or-
struck
yep,
out.
Yep,
Right.
yep, yep.
Okay.
Because we've reviewed
Took
all.
me a little while to,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we've
No,
done
it's not
all
really
these
bad.
once,
okay,
and so
All right.
these are like the.
just
These
minor
minor
revisions.
updates,
Yeah.
yep.
So I do have a question on, PO 1230. I'm just curious, where is it?
Maybe middle of the pack.
Yeah, why are we not putting it on the website? Just, shall be
Huh?
published on the district website and be readily accessible?
I might not find it now.
Just curious.
Administrative guidelines and handbooks. She's asking why we're not putting why it was crossed off, that those are not going on the district
We
website.
haven't in the past. We've had the administrative guidelines behind the scenes, and guidebooks and things of that nature have always been for the administrators and for
Okay.
us to work through. They have not been, since we've switched to Neola, they have not been on
The website?
the website. Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, they're there for people to look at, they're just.
Yeah, so somebody could come and ask to look at it.
Yep.
Yeah, but we just don't need it on our website, because that's what we've always done, right? Is that kind of what I'm getting the gist of?
Correct.
Okay,
The guidelines haven't been.
okay.
The policies are, but they're not the guidelines.
Yes, yes. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And gifts and donations.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept with great gratitude the donation of $500 from Rhonda and Bernie Frederick for upkeep for the Jessica Frederick Memorial. A donation of 40 basketballs to the Lodi High School girls and boys basketball teams from the Dan Marquardt Foundation at a value of $3,400. And another donation of $7,847 from an anonymous donor for the cost of 2 buses for the 2026 8th grade Washington DC trip.
That is wonderful.
That is insane.
That is,
I'll second that motion.
Yeah.
Motion by Adam, second by Sarah Ramish. Any more discussion? So, with them paying by the buses, I'm assuming the cost is going down for the
That
kids?
was my question too, yeah.
No, so we had to
No.
reach a certain number of kids in order to take 2 buses. This is actually not written quite correctly. It's actually
Yeah.
to cover the cost of the second bus to go.
Okay.
Because we didn't reach enough kids to have a second bus, so we had a waiting list of kids.
Oh.
And an anonymous donor came in and said that they would pay the difference so that those kids would be able to go.
Oh, great.
That's awesome, cause I know that's kind of been an issue in the past,
Yeah.
hasn't it? Like that waiting list, it
Mhm.
kinda gets
Not too
nerve wracking.
Usually, it's been pretty good. I can only think of one year where we had a wait list.
So now there's 2 buses going.
Yep.
There's 2 buses going now, yeah.
Oh,
So now everybody on the wait list can go.
Everybody can go that signed up.
And how many kids are going then?
59, I think.
Oh, that's great.
That's such a great trip. Thank
It
you guys
is.
for still doing that. Well, thank you for all these donations. That's amazing. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And our committee reports, CISA 5.
So I did not go because I was teaching, and, but I do know they talked about Jeremy's, contract.
Oh,
Yeah, review.
I'm assuming people were
Who's Jeremy?
much happy with
He's the
that.
one
Head
who
of
was
the-
running CISA 5.
Oh, okay.
He runs
Like
the
our,
five.
like Vince, but at CISA 5.
Okay, got it.
Co-curricular items report.
Okay,
I always
so.
forget that. I always think you still read it.
The girls wrestling team has had a busy last few weeks. On January 30th, the team hosted a varsity girls competition at Lodi High School with both Zoe Licht and Yalen Campa placing third. This past Friday, the team competed in the conference tournament with Zoe Licht repeating as conference champion. The team will compete this coming Friday night at regionals in Wanakee. The boys wrestling team has had an exciting last few weeks of competition. This past weekend, they hosted the conference tournament with the team coming away as conference champions. Owen Dorhorst, Everett Dorhorst, Xander Kellogg, Briar Caves, and Alex Breinig all took home individual conference championships, with an additional 5 Lodi wrestlers taking second place. The team will travel to Richland Center for sectionals this coming Saturday and will host team sectionals at home in Lodi on Saturday, February 21st. The boys' basketball team is 11-7 on the season with a conference record of 2-4. On Saturday, January 24th, the team traveled to Fiserv Forum to take out Mount Horeb. The team came up just short on the Bucks court, losing 58-54. Recent wins include a Rock the Gym victory over Poynette and a 65-48 win over Reedsburg. The team heads to New Glarus tonight and will host Lakeside Lutheran on Thursday night. Girls basketball. The girls' basketball team is 6-14 with a conference record of 3-4. The team picked up a huge conference win at Rock the Gym, topping Poynette 50-47. This past Saturday, the team won a nail biter against New Glarus, coming away with a 39-38 victory. The girls have 2 conference games this week, traveling to Waupun on Tuesday and Poynette on Friday night. For boys hockey, the update here we have is the Norski Co-op hockey team is 6-14 with a conference record of 3-7. Recent wins include a 6-2 win over Beloit and an 8-3 conference win over Baraboo and Portage. The team will travel to Monroe on Tuesday and Monona Grove on Thursday. The powerlifting team competed in the Nisita competition this past weekend. 11 Lodi students competed, with all of them placing on the podium. Raylan Waters and Logan Newmeyer both placed first in their varsity groups. 2 students, Trenton Schlender and Marin Daly, have advanced to the state competition in March.
That's awesome.
This past weekend, the Lodi mock trial team competed in regionals. For the second year in a row, Lodi took home the top 2 spots, with varsity earning first place and the JV team finishing in second. The varsity team will head to the state tournament on Friday, March 6th and Saturday, March 7th at the Dane County Courthouse. The forensics team has had a busy last few weeks. On January 31st, the team placed 4th in large teams at the DeForest tournament. Last Monday, the team competed in the Capital Conference tournament, coming away as conference champions in the small teams division. Individual conference champs were Simon Ricks in information/demonstrations, James Walsh, Henry Homemuth, Hunter Lorang, and Chase Mass in play acting, Andy Lemke in poetry, Jalen Breinig in storytelling, and Aaron Lemke and Caleb Polson in prose. Lots happening.
Yeah.
Lots of
I'd like
things.
to
Lots.
mention
It's a
the,
lot, yeah.
mock trial.
Yep.
So we did place first and second, and 2 teams can go to state,
Oh.
but you can't have 2 teams from the same school go to state.
What?
So varsity
That's
placed
not fair.
higher in scores, so they go to state, but the 3rd place team, Wanakee, actually goes to state, and our JV does not. Which,
What?
Zero, right?
yeah, it's the 2nd year in a row that we have swept that,
Probably should change that rule.
but they can't let us go to state.
Jonathan needs to put that in the paper.
Yeah,
Yes.
he left
So-
early.
Like,
Somebody call him.
It's fantastic.
Lodi newspaper.
Because we did score a lot higher than many of the other teams.
Yeah.
And we beat Wanakee. I think the JV beat Wanakee by kind of a lot. But unfortunately they cannot go.
That is.
This is off this, well, kind of piggybacking off of that. Who are the advisors for mock trial?
So Miss Potter is the head coach.
Okay.
And then we have 2 coaches, so Mr. Carl, which is a math teacher, is his first year doing it, and then Miss D'Agostino.
Oh, sure.
I think this is her 2nd year coming back.
Okay.
So Miss Potter is very, very experienced, and she has led teams to state pretty much every year. I think it's every year. And the other 2 are
obviously leads JV teams to be varsity teams, so.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, thank you for filling us
That's
that up.
interesting.
But I think
That
you
wasn't
should
in my
talk to the
report, so
administrator.
thank you for
Yeah.
Additional
information. That was really good.
It's not a well-known fact because it rarely happens, but we've been,
Except in Lodi.
yeah.
Too good.
Might have to be writing to the mock trial academy and saying you might wanna change that.
I should have a JV.
Sure, lawyers, so.
Nice.
Okay, well, thank you for all that. And I'm sorry to our JV team, good job.
Yeah.
All right, OSC.
All right. So OSC met on the board met on January 21st. And the meeting consisted of the OSC school report card presentation via Nick Carls, presented the OSC board about OSC's school report card, and the overall score exceeds expectations. OSC updated Mr. Schuneman, shared information about assessment results coming home soon. Report cards are coming home February 12th. And OSC enrollment, OSC info night for 2nd grader families that might be interested in OSC for their 3rd graders is Tuesday, February 3rd. And there's more out on the website too. Shared communication with 2nd grade families and discussed enrollment timelines. OSC fundraising, this already happened. They had a trivia night over at the Waddle Inn.
So fun.
It was adult trivia. It was so much fun.
Yeah, they have to
And
do that again. And my team beat these guys, so just saying.
So, you know,
Which I did not think was gonna happen.
but they had one more person on their team.
We
So-
brought 6, which you're supposed to.
We were minus
Were they
one.
cheaters?
No,
No,
it was just
we
good.
were not cheaters.
No.
We just know
And
random
they,
stuff.
and they obviously are really good loser, or winners, rather, good winners. So, also discussed penny ward to help students be engaged and how they will go to the bank, and they'll go to the bank and see the money counted. That is very loud when you count pennies.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the next, board meeting is Wednesday, February 18th at 3:30.
Awesome, thank you. Board committee reports, personnel.
All right, Personnel Committee, we met on February 3rd. We approved the co-curricular payment schedule, which you also approved tonight. Jason made the percentage increases or decreases, using the conference benchmarking, regional market analysis, internal audit hours, and role and responsibility assessments. He put a lot of effort into that, and we appreciated it. It was easy to approve. We also approved a calendar adjustment, which gave teachers flexibility in meeting the required workday prior to school starting. Just gave them a few extra options of the days that they could go in and meet that requirement. We also had a discussion on the referendum options. Obviously, we didn't take any action, we just Vince put it on so that we could talk about it during the meeting. And then, Dr. Breinig shared information from the recent staff work group meeting. There was like 10 questions that he put out. If you're interested in the questions and answers, which there were some really good ones there in the minutes of the, not the minutes, they're in the agenda from the personnel meeting. And then our next meeting is Tuesday, March 3rd.
Thank you, Teresa. I just want to make one correction. The co-curricular pay schedule was not put on consent agenda for this meeting. We're gonna put that on a future, board agenda. We're just gonna save some time to speak to the staff members that it affects.
Okay.
Correct. To administration.
Oh, my bad, I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep, absolutely.
But we voted to approve it.
That's right, that's right.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you, guys. Curriculum.
Okay, well, we met on January 28th. Some of the highlights from that meeting, first of all, we had a presentation by Mr. Jelinek, who came to give an update on the exchange programs. He provided an overview of current district exchange programs, including Germany, Thailand, and Costa Rica. Costa Rica will be replacing the Spain program. He also reviewed updates to ensure consistency and transparency across programs. We talked about some of the other specific items related to that. We spoke about ongoing challenges with recruitment for host families. We talked about establishment of a common application timeline, interviewing rubric and staff input process for all exchanges. We also talked about payment procedures. Those were clarified, including signed contracts, scheduled payments, tracking spreadsheets, and a requirement that students be fully paid up 2 weeks prior to travel. There were some other things, but those are sort of the key items. We had a presentation on from the Health and PE department, 4K through 12th grade. Ms. Poles provided a department update from each building. At the primary school, they're currently working on a striking and hockey unit, focusing on routines and expectations. The high school's Fitness for Life students will be mentoring primary students through monthly visits. The elementary school level, we discussed the positive impact of high school student assistance in the PE classes. New stage enclosures have created opportunity for a gymnastics unit and potential need for some gymnastics equipment in the future. The middle school level, swimming units continue to be successful. Students had previously been exposed in those who had been exposed in grade 5 now show greater confidence and skills in swimming. Digital safety lessons have been embedded into life skills courses. At the high school level, health classes are partnering with elementary students through a pen pal and in-person connection program. The Healthy Lifestyles class supports Little Explorers and senior citizen pen pal programs. Unified PE enrollment is strong, 30 to 31 students, and mentors apply and training focus on inclusion and leadership. The lifeguarding course has been reported as highly successful this year. The committee discussed equipment planning and thanked Ms. Poles for the breadth of programming. We then heard from the 4K through 12th grade reading and language arts department. Ms. Kearney reported on ELA work across the district. The department has returned to a unified 4K through 12 structure following the Act 20 training. At the high school, expanded use of Ames Web to monitor progress in principles of literacy. Middle school is in year 2 of My Perspectives implementation, shifting from startup to refinement. Summer work aligned writing standards across grades to clarify expectations. And the primary elementary schools continue keys to literacy implementation. Magnetic literacy pilot are underway with the K through 2 and OSC programs. Department focus areas, development of consistent grammar conventions, instruction across all grade levels, shared expectations and practices for writing instruction. There may be a greater need for onboarding to support new staff, and discussion of tools such as Grammarly and the balance between technology and authentic writing instruction. We went over winter assessment results. An overview of winter benchmarking was provided. iReady reading and math results were compared to Wisconsin and national norms. Ames Web oral reading fluency data generally showed growth. Discussion included how students that are in quote need support ranges receive assistance. Literacy supports through reading specialists and win time. Math supports primarily classroom-based and ELT block at middle school was noted. Committee members discuss interpretation of categories and grade level patterns. There was also an Act 20 update. Some of the updates for that included that new teachers must verify completion of approved Act 20 training or completed this year. There's a review of core materials, explanation of reading plan process and family notification system through NextPath, which will direct contact prior to electronic notices. And we clarified how plans may continue beyond grade 3 and how they interface with the IEPs. Lastly, we had K through 5 math program review. And, we tabled that to discuss at the next meeting, so we didn't actually talk about that one. Future agenda items will be to follow up on the math review and do an AI update. Our next meeting is scheduled for February 25th.
You guys are busy.
It was a lot.
Wow.
That meeting was
Thank
very
you.
good, yeah.
That was a lot. Thank you very much. Facility and finance.
We met last Tuesday, we went over the solar panel bids that we also just went over. We were going to go over the high school roofing bids, but they didn't come in time. We had discussions about the referendum, which is gonna be on every single facility and finance committee meeting discussion moving forward. And then we went into closed session to talk about other stuff, but that was it, and then we'll meet on March 3rd again.
Okay. Thank you. And policy.
We went through them all. Vince, will we have a meeting in February for policy?
Yes.
I'm not
February.
sure, probably not. The only thing we have is the AI policy. If we're ready to bring that, I don't think we'll be ready to bring it.
Okay, I'll be on an airplane and will be unavailable that day.
Well, we can't have one without you.
Well, you can have the two of you.
I think we could do it.
All right, so our next regular school board meeting is Monday, March 9th at 5:30 close, 6:30 open. Our curriculum committee is Wednesday, February 25th at 4:30. Policy, maybe not, but maybe, Wednesday, February 25th at 6 o'clock. Personnel will be Tuesday, March 3rd at 4:30, and facility and finance will be Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 o'clock. And we do not need to reconvene into closed session, I believe.
Then I will make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Sarah Ramish, second by Adam. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We are adjourned.